Hello, I'm Dynast Amir.
So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I going to go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Ouida, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my Uhuru, which is freedom.
Till next time, Dynast Amir, I'm out.
Peace, family. I hope all is well. I hope your Friday, well, it's Friday here in Atlanta. Hope your Friday is going well. Do me a favor, hit that like button again. As you come to the channel, please hit the like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. You guys, again, I would greatly appreciate it. Man, you guys can't see my statue all the way. Hold on, let me adjust this camera. Let me see if I can scoot that back. Does that work? No. Okay. I want you guys to see my statue, all in his glory. You know what I'm saying? Let me turn it that way. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, I'm just messing up now. I'm messing up now. Yeah, man, listen. Hold on. Let's just do this. There we go. Bam. And then we're gonna scoot it up some. Okay, hold on. What I do? Okay, I know what I did. Hold on 1 second, guys. We're gonna get it right. Okay, we're gonna just turn this like that. There we go. That's better. Okay, that's better. Okay, we'll turn a little bit more. Okay. Not all the way that way. There we go. Okay, that's better. Okay, that's better. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Hannah should be coming on shortly. Like usual, she's fashionably late, but she should be here soon. But guys, make sure you buy the documentary In Search of Uhuru. Again, make sure you buy the documentary In Search of Uhuru. Go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Again, please go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary, and I will greatly appreciate it. And then tours. All right, listen, we are rolling to Sierra Leone. Oh, oops, almost the wrong button. All right, there we go. We are rolling to Sierra Leone in April. Again, we are rolling to Sierra Leone in April. We will love to have you join us in Sierra Leone. Please go to donfo.africa to learn more. Again, please go to donfo.africa to learn more. Okay, and then so we're rolling to Sierra Leone in April. They have not announced the citizenship ceremony yet, but word is they're going to have one. Listen, bro, add me on here, please. I want to come to Africa. America is hurting my soul. All right, well, if you want to roll with us, go to donfo.africa. Go to donfo.africa and send me a message, and you could come join us. Go to donfo.africa. Links right there on the bottom of the screen. Is also in the chat room. And you are more than welcome to come and join us on the continent. Again, go to Diaspora.Africa. So we're rolling to Sierra Leone in April. Our citizenship ceremony has not been officially announced, but from what I've been told, there's gonna be another ceremony. Senegal in May for the Jazz Festival. Okay, we're rolling to Senegal in May for the Jazz Festival, May 21st to the 30th. We'd love to have you guys join us in Senegal for the Jazz Festival. Again, we'd love to have you in Senegal for the Jazz Festival. Come and join us in Senegal, family, for the Jazz Festival. Then we're going to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Again, Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festivals. Come join us in Nigeria. And then Zanzibar in November. Come and join us. I wonder where Hannah's at. So, guys, hit me up. If you'd like to join us, go to downfo.africa. Let me message Hannah. Tell her that we are live. Where are you at, Hannah? Where are you at? You're supposed to be up in here. You're supposed to be up in here, Hannah. You're supposed to be up in here, Hannah. Guys, let me message Hannah. Yeah, Hannah's supposed to be up in here. I don't know where she at. She got the link. Let me call her. Tell her we rocking and rolling. Hold on, call Hannah. Hannah, where you at? We live.
Oh, you said 7:25.
Oh, I'm in my time. I'm in my time, not your time. My time.
See, I'm over here waiting at 6:30.
My bad. Come on.
Okay, let me go ahead and get on there.
Okay, all right, bye. My fault, you guys. It was miscommunication. See, she's in Chicago. I'm in Atlanta. So when I said 7:25, I meant 7:25 my time, not her time, because she's an hour behind. But she's coming. She's coming. She's coming. Yeah, my bad, you guys. My bad. So, guys, we're gonna just wait for Hannah real quick, and then we'll roll. But nice seeing y'all. Nice seeing you guys. There she goes. There you go.
What's going on, Titan?
What's up? You should tell us about it. Okay, here we go. Oh, Meccan and Sankofa. Greetings, Dynasty Samir. You got there's an echo, Hannah. You have
it's the echo.
you
Okay,
have the
hold on.
stream playing.
Let me turn off my Bluetooth speaker. There we go. That's better.
Testing. We good to go. We're good to go.
Good to go. Okay. What's
All right.
up? What's up? Search for Uhuru.
What's good? What's good, Hannah? How you doing?
Wait a second. Let me get it out. Hello, Search for Uhuru family. Hi, Dynast. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see all of your beautiful faces again. I am back, even though I can't see nobody, but I feel the spirits. I feel y'all in the comments right now.
You can't see the comments? Oh, you must be on your phone.
No, I can't even see the comments. I'm just looking at you, Dynast. All I see is you every time.
Okay.
But you know, hey, I'm happy to be back. I'm back from Ghana, straight off the plane. You know,
fresh off the plane. Fresh
off the boat.
How was it?
Okay. Where do I start?
Go jump right into it, Hannah. The floor is yours. Tell us how you called me last minute, how you wanted to go, how you went to the Black Star Line Festival. That's why you went. And
oh my goodness.
The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Just do the whole thing.
Go ahead. You can introduce yourself first and then just the floor.
All right, y'all. So I'm international Hannah. I'm from Chicago, good friends with Dynast. And, you know, I do real estate here in Chicago, but I also love to just travel and live my best life. I am growing my social media content, so make sure to follow me. My Instagram is at International Hannah. It's also my TikTok and my YouTube. So follow me on all platforms. But I am just an Africa enthusiast, so that's where me and Dynast connect, and that's where I connect with the channel. And the last time that I was on the channel, I was actually talking to Dynast about going to Ghana. So if you caught the last episode that I was on, I literally woke up and I had an epiphany. I was like, Ghana. Like I woke up out of my sleep and was like, Ghana, you know, and I didn't know why. I didn't really know what. It was 5 days before I was preparing to leave. And I had talked to Dynast on live about this. And it was really about the visa, because when I found out that you needed a visa for Ghana, and the visa process takes so long with Ghana. So just keep that in mind. Anybody planning to go to Ghana, just know that that visa process takes about 2 weeks and you have to mail in your passport. And I started getting discouraged. I was like, I'm not going to be able to go because I'm not going to have time. Y'all, I made this decision 5 days before I went to Ghana. I decided December 29th that I wanted to go to Ghana, and I was leaving January 6th, right? So what happened was I started YouTubing. How can I get a visa? You know, I called Dynast. I'm like, Dynast, you connected in Africa. Can you help me get a visa? Like, how can I get this visa? And just be aware, because there's a lot of scammers out here. I went on YouTube and I found a video that said, going to Ghana, need a visa in 24 hours. Call my number. So I call the WhatsApp number, you know, I'm like, hello, I need the visa. So he's like, okay, we can help you with that. I'm like, okay, well, you know, how much is it? He was like, well, you know, since you need our services, basically it's going to cost you, I want to say it was something outlandish, like $450. When in all actuality, a Ghana visa only costs $60, right? So I'm like, wait a second, $450? He's like, you either take the services or you leave it. Like he had such an attitude, you know, bad vibes. Where you at, Dynast?
Asshole. Straight asshole.
Okay, where you at? Because I'm like, you know, I can't see nobody comments. So I feel like I'm talking to myself right now.
I'm here. I'm right
here. With me? Okay.
I want everybody to focus on you, Hannah.
Oh, okay. I don't want to focus on us. So, basically what happened was this man tried to charge me $450, right, for the visa. And I just was like, nah, I'm not feeling that. He had an attitude. He was like, you take it or you leave it. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm leaving it because I don't like your attitude. It was very like, he was like, listen, we don't need your service. Because I was like, how can I trust you? He was like, why would you even ask that? I'm like, what? You asking me, you're going to be asking for my passport information? It was just bad vibes, y'all. And I'm so glad I didn't go with it because Dynast told me like, Hannah, I think you could get a visa on arrival. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't see anything online. He was like, I think you can. I said, you know what? Let me call United Airlines. United Airlines is who I was flying with. So I called United Airlines. I'm like, hey, I'm planning to go to Ghana in 4 days. Do I need a visa? They said, you can get one on arrival.
Bam. Told you.
Yes.
Bam.
Yes, bam, right? So if I would have went with old dude, I would have been paying $450 for a visa that I could have got on arrival, and he never even told me that. So I get to Ghana. I'm so excited now. I'm like, I'm going. I'm just throwing shit in the bag, like, because it's all last minute. I'm like, let me just put everything in the bag. I'm about to go to Ghana. And when I get there, basically, I told them, like, hey, visa on arrival. And they got super excited. They were like, oh, we got a visa on arrival. Like, they letting the others know, like, we got one. Yeah, it was like, we got one. So they pulled me to the back. They're like, visa on arrival, right? Come this way. I'm like, okay. So I'm taking my luggage.
Oh man, they put you in the back office.
They pulled me in the back office, y'all.
Yeah. You gotta pay the tax.
I have my first back office Africa experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was solo, y'all. I went to Ghana solo. I didn't have no family, no friends on the ground. You know, I don't even know my African heritage. I haven't done my DNA results. So I'm literally just going like a little lost soul that's there for, I feel like, God's purpose, right? So they pull me in this back office, you know, I'm like, I could tell something is going on because I don't see anybody else back here. Like, it's just me and the guy. And like, he's like, sit down on the couch, and I'm just sitting there like, so what are we doing? He was like, so you need a visa. And in my head, remind y'all, visa on arrival costs $150 when you get to Ghana. So I already knew in my head, I have $150 to spend on this visa. He said, you need a visa? I could do it for you for $100.
Okay, that's fair.
I was like, oh, 100? Because I was already planning to pay $150. But I'm like, I could do it for $75. I'm from Chicago. You're not going to just get me with the first number. Like, we still going to have to negotiate that. I should have went down lower.
Well, all right. What happened? He
was like, 75. He was like, oh, sister. I'm like, brother, first time in Ghana. Okay, 75. That's all I can do. He was like, okay, we could do 75. You know, I think sometimes when you're a female, you know, you kind of cute, you got the charm. Like, yeah. I'm like, y'all not about to get me for 100. Like,
hey, did he ask for your phone number afterwards?
Oh, hold on, I gotta take a sip before I explain that one. So, Dynast, that's crazy. Let me find out one of them did that to you.
Pause. No,
one of the females.
I was about to say, one of them. Pause. No.
One of the females.
Hey, none of that funny stuff going on.
None of that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I paid him the 75, y'all, in cash, and he like, okay, go ahead, you good. I'm like, I'm good. He's like, you're good. So I go. They look at me. He tell them like, she's good. He's like, okay, you know, they gave me a stamp. I'm like, all right. So I got my bags. I'm going. You know, I feel like I didn't save $75, so I'm good. So I get outside. My driver, he's holding the sign, Hannah sign. I'm like, hey.
You said driver? Okay.
Yeah, I had a driver. They had the sign. Huh?
Okay. Driver. All right.
Yeah. I had, you know, I ain't playing all them games. I'm going right. Like, I'm going solo. I'm going right. So they holding the sign, you know, the Hannah sign. I'm like, oh, hey, you know. Next thing you know, I feel a tap on my shoulder. How can I help you? So it's a lady. She like, hi, sister. I need you to come with me. I'm like, come with you? Is there something wrong? She like, no, nothing wrong. I just need you to come with me for a second. We just need to reevaluate something. I'm like, reevaluate what? I'm like, I'm already here with my driver. It's time for me to go. The driver didn't even have a car ready. He like, I have to go and get the car. I'm like, you don't have a damn car? Shit, she calling me back.
They got to park the car in the parking lot. Like
they got to park the car. Exactly. Yeah, so he didn't have the car, and she's asking me to come back. So I'm like, well, my driver is here already. She was like, it won't take long. Listen, I'm a female. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. I'm like, okay. So I'm taking a walk of shame, going back up in this place. And I'm feeling like something is getting ready to happen because I feel like they about to ask me for more money. Because why else you asking me to come back in? I didn't clear it out. I got my bags. I didn't made it outside, felt the warm Ghana breeze. And you asking me to come back in? For what? And I already know we did some under the cover stuff. So I literally go back in, and I'm not going to lie, I was just feeling a little like my heart was racing. I kind of felt like, here's this moment. I'm by myself. Like, I'm starting to feel the repercussions of, being alone. And she takes me back to the back office. And this time it was a room that said detention center. So I'm not going to lie. My heart is like jumping now. Like, it's a room that says detention center. She knocks on the door. She talking to somebody. She like, yeah, I got her. I got her right here. And I'm just standing there like, what happened? She like, come in here. So I'm like, okay, roll my bags in the detention center. It's a man sitting on the couch. He like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing good. How can I help you? He was like, where you coming from? I'm like, I'm coming from Chicago. He was like, okay. What you planning on doing? I'm like, just hanging out. Like, I'm going to try to do some reporting for the festival. Like, just trying to explore my roots. He was like, okay. What do you do in Chicago? I'm like, real estate and journalism. He like, okay. So how long are you going to be in Ghana? I mean, he's giving me like the full rundown, right? Just asking me, 3rd degree. So finally he says, well, I'm glad you came back. I'm glad I got to know you a little bit. I'm going to have my coworker, my colleague, give you my number. And I'll be texting you. And I'm like, okay, that's it. All right. So I'm walking out. I'm confused, but I'm just trying to get back to the driver. I asked the lady, I'm going to walk you out. So she walking with me. I'm like, he wanted me to go back just so that you can give me his number? She was like, yes, I'm going to give him your number. So let's go. I'm like, this is so weird. We get outside. She gives me the man's number. And she was like, okay, make sure you text him right now. Let me see you text him. I'm like, okay. So I'm literally just doing whatever they say because I don't want no smoke. Like, I'm just trying to get to my hotel. So I text them. She was like, okay, now save my number and text me too. I'm like, what? So y'all please leave in the comments if you from Ghana or you've ever been, did you have a similar experience? Did you have like a woman like asking you to save her number and like text her too? Because I just felt that was really weird. I had a 2-for-1 special right there. And they were both hitting me up like the whole trip. They were like, what's up? And, can we hang out? And I never responded like the entire trip. I was like, this is just too weird for me. But yeah, that was my entrance into Ghana. So.
All right. Let's hear, guys. But finish, how was your trip? Tell us more about, what you did and all that. And go into that.
Okay. I'm just looking at some of the comments and just, seeing what some of the people are saying. And yeah, this is funny. Yeah, it was interesting. You guys make sure to leave some comments about, what you have to say about it. Dinah, you still on here? Oh, Dinah. Okay, there we go.
I'm here with you.
Okay.
I'm right here. I just want people to focus on you, Hannah.
Got you.
Okay, so how was the trip? You get to Ghana. Where did you listen? My favorite hotel in Accra is the African region. I love that hotel. That's where I usually stay when I'm in Ghana, the African region.
Okay. I should have got some recommendations from you, but
so did the guy call you from the airport?
Yeah, he called me. I didn't respond.
He's still calling you now, huh?
No, thank goodness. He texted me and called me a few times, and I think when he saw I wasn't responding, he just kind of, fell off. And then like she's texting me too. Like I updated my picture on WhatsApp and she's like, love it, honey. Love your new picture, sweetie. And I'm like, girl, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not responding to either of them. That was too weird for me. Like, no, next. But when I got to Ghana, I stayed at the GC Royal. It's in Osu. Osu is like the main city, y'all. If you're going to Ghana, you want to stay in Osu. It's lively. Everything is next to it. You got restaurants, you got Oxford Street. Like, it's just a lot of movement. It's a lot of action. If you want to be around the action, stay in Osu. So GC Hotel, it's like an Asian-based hotel. I didn't really like that. I don't want to come to Africa and get the Asian experience. And I feel like that's what I somewhat got being at the GC, because they cater to Asians. So you can tell they're part of that like Asian development that's happening in Africa all throughout, like the elevators, everything had American and Asian. So I kind of was like, I want to get an African experience. So I only stayed there for like 5 days and then I ended up switching it up. I moved to the apartments at the Lenox. The apartments at the Lenox was very nice, very luxurious apartments in Accra, top notch, so that was beautiful. And then I switched it for my last like 3 days to a hotel called Cocktails and Dreams, which was random as hell. Cocktails and Dreams, they were cool. They ain't had no good cocktails though. So I was like, why y'all call Cocktails and Dreams and y'all don't have no cocktails? But shout out to Danny. He was the bartender. Danny took care of me. Like, he gave me free cocktails, the ones that he made up every day. So he ended up being super cool. He took care of me like that. But it was cool. Like, I would say my first day, I did start feeling a little bit of like travel remorse of just like coming by myself and going to Africa.
Listen, sometimes that trip got to be, a solo trip. And sometimes it's the way it is, Hannah.
Oh yeah, I figured that out as it continued.
Right.
But like that first night, remember I text you? I text Dynas and I said, Dynas, why did I come to Africa alone? And he said, I don't know.
Oh.
I literally text him that because it was like the first day it hit me. Like, when I got there after all the hype, like once the hype was fun, right? Like, knowing I was getting ready to go to Ghana. I had just planned this trip in 5 days. I ended up getting on the flight. Not only did I get on the flight, I flew first class all the way to Ghana. So just the hype of it all was like amazing, right? Like, I was on a high. I'm eating and I'm on the plane with Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu sitting 2 seats next to me, on the side of me. She's headed out there for the festival.
So you must have. So he flew first class, Hannah. He flew.
There and back.
Okay. Big time.
So and like I said, Erykah Badu, she's sitting on the plane next to me. Like, it was just a high coming, right? And then it was like when I got there, it all sank in. Like, what's really going on? Like, where am I at? It was like a dream. Like, where am I at? I'm in Ghana, huh? I walked out on the balcony and I'm just looking like, and I'm seeing chickens and I'm seeing, people fixing cars and arguing, and then I'm seeing like people in the villages over here carrying water, and I'm like, yo, I'm in Ghana, by myself, and I don't know anybody. And in that moment, I started feeling like I wanted to go home because I didn't know what was going on. It kind of just all happened so fast. I don't know if anybody has ever experienced traveling like that, where you just make a decision real quick.
I've done it several times.
You done that? Did you feel that way before?
No.
You said no?
Like okay, feel like I was lonely and wanted to go?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But I will say it only lasted the first day. It was literally that first day. Like, it was just the first day. I was confused. Like, why did I come? What am I doing? What is going on? I'm by myself, and I had made a video about it. Like, I was on Instagram and I was just like speaking my truth. I was telling people like, I'm appreciative that I'm here, but I don't know if it's what I'm expecting. You know, I like to go places where I'm just like in the luxurious and it's palm trees and beautiful blue waters and this and that. And I was just looking out at a lot of shit. Okay. And it was like, it wasn't the view that I was expecting. It just wasn't like what I was expecting at that time. And I think that's what was making me feel that way. And also the fact that I didn't even know nobody at the time that could say, you know what, come here, let me show you the good parts, or let me show you what you really need to see, right? But then that night, it all changed. Okay, this all the same. This is the first day. That night it changed because I met somebody at the hotel.
Who you meet?
I met Sunday. This is the first person I met. Sunday. His name is Sunday.
Nigerian.
Yes. So shout out to the Nigerians. Okay. Shout out to the Nigerians. The Nigerian took care of me the first day, Sunday. Me and him clicked like this. We were hanging out. He was like, let me take you to a Nigerian place. We went to a Nigerian place off of the beach.
See, the Ghanaians be slipping on their mackin. See, you want the guy?
Yeah, the Nigerian. Yup.
Listen, Ghanaians be slipping on their mackin.
Yup. We was like this. We were locked, right? So me and Sunday, we went and ate. You know, I had the Egosi, I think is the name.
Egusi.
I had a goosey, some fufu, and I had this beer. It was like a really like sweet type beer.
Origin beer.
Origin, yes.
Origin beer. See, I'm proper Niger man, so I know my Origin beer.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm an orgy fan. Come on, Dynas. We got to toast to some orgies.
Origin.
Oh,
but okay, listen, I'm gonna keep this clean. I was about to, I'm gonna keep this clean. Listen, I'm gonna keep this clean. I'm not gonna say what I was about to say. Orgy.
Not me saying we got to toast to an orgy.
Damn. Yeah. So let me keep this clean. Go ahead. Let me get my mind out the gutter. Go ahead. Let me get my mind out the gutter.
Where my mind at right now? Where's my mind?
So let me get my mind.
I know they eating me up in the comments right now. I know they eating me up talking about toasting.
It's called Origin beer. Origin.
Listen, you guys, you have to excuse that. I'm still jet lagged. Okay, Origin. Okay, I had some Origin.
There you go.
No orgies, just some Origin, and it was great, right? And so this is the first night, and he was helping me to feel more comfortable. And so after I left him, I was like, let me go to the club by myself, so that I can like try to meet somebody else, because although he was cool, I knew that he worked at the hotel that I was staying. And like he had even broke down about like how much they paid him. And when he told me he's getting like $50 a month, I'm like, oh,
man, did you give him some money, Hannah?
I didn't. So here's the thing, and this is what I
did he ask for some money, Hannah?
No, let me tell you something. Okay, let me just lay it out here for all the West African men that are in the chat, all the West African men that are watching right now. I just want to say salute to y'all. Okay, I want to say big salute, because there was a big difference that I saw in the West African men than when I was in East Africa. Okay, and the difference that I saw is the West African men, even if they didn't have no money, even if they made $20 a month, they didn't want me to spend nothing. They wanted to be the man in the situation. It didn't matter. They was like, I'm buying it. I'm buying it. Like, we at the restaurant, and this is before I knew he made $50 a month. And he's like trying to pay for the bill. And I'm like, no. Like, I'll pay, for at least like, I'll pay for mine or whatever. He like, no, I'm paying. I'm like, okay. So then once we had the conversation and I found out he's only making $50 a month, I was like, oh, wait a second. Like, I just know moving forward, like, we're not going to be able to, do a lot. And I also know that, like, I'm going to feel responsible to pay for stuff. So let me go meet somebody else. Let me go meet somebody else, because, yeah.
Why you do Sunday about that? Why you do Sunday like that, Hannah?
Sunday, if you watching, you are my guy. Like, I rock with you.
I mean, I thought it wasn't about the money. I thought it was about the personality.
No. Okay, so
I thought it was about what's on the inside.
It sure is. It sure is. Because let me tell you, me and Sunday still hung out after that. It was just that I knew that like he wasn't going to be that main person for me because number one, he didn't have a car. Whoever I hung out with needed to have a car so they could take me around Ghana. And then number two, I want to know that like, I don't know. I just want to know that like you can afford it. I don't want to feel bad because like if you're making $50 a month and I know I'm making that an hour, I'm gonna feel compelled to pay for everything. So, and I, even though I didn't mind doing that, sometimes I would prefer to find somebody who could pay for stuff because like Ghana definitely has a middle class. So there are different types. They have rich, middle class. So I'm like, I know it's somebody else out here. So went to the club. Shout out to Levels. That's the name of the club. It was a new club right next door to my hotel. And when I went to Levels, I basically just went and sat down and dined by myself. So ladies, if you are planning to do a solo trip to Africa, do not be afraid. Go out to the club, go out to the restaurant. Make sure it's like a restaurant club though. Like if it is a club, make sure they serve food because it is weird to just go to a club by yourself. But if it's like a restaurant too, you could sit down, you can order your drink, you can order an appetizer, order some plantains, you know, do your little thing, right? So that's what I did. I sat down, I ordered anything I wanted on the menu because I could afford it because everything in Ghana is like half price. Right. So in America, you go to eat a dinner. What's the average dinner cost in America, right? An average. What would you say?
You know, by yourself or
by yourself?
I mean, $25.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say like
but we'll say $25.
Okay, I was gonna say 30, right?
25
for an average, right? $25 to $30, like average dinner in America. So it's gonna be half of that in Ghana. So you're looking at 12 to 15, and that's including your food, that's including drink. Like the drinks are all like $5. The food was coming up to like $7. You know, so it's just like I was just going crazy. Like, let me get my appetizer, let me get this, let me get 2 drinks, you know. So I sat there, I ordered food. I came into that restaurant looking like a bad bitch. I was ready.
Say you came looking like what?
A bad bitch.
Say it again. Came looking like what?
A bad bitch.
Okay.
I did though, because it's like if you go come, you know, like do it right. So that's how you actually meet people. Like you can't think you gonna be looking crazy. You gonna be meeting people like. You know, I came in there, right? Like, and I sat down by myself. So it was a statement. And it was like, when I walked in, everybody looked at me anyway. And I could just tell everybody was staring at me when I was sitting at the table by myself. But I'm like, you know, it is what it is. I'm here for the vibes. Like, if I meet somebody, cool. If I don't, cool. There's always tomorrow. And as I was paying for my bill, the waiter came up and was like, excuse me, ma'am. I just want to let you know that there is a guy who really wants your number. And he asked me to ask you. And I'm like, oh no, sweetie, I don't do that. If he wants my number, he's got to come ask me himself. So tell him to come up to me. And she was like, okay, I'll let him know. So I'm just laughing at the fact that he even sent the waiter in the first place. But I'm like, hey, this Ghana, they probably do things different here. So I'm literally getting up, right? I'm getting up from the table. And like I had just paid for the check, and I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of a bad look because it's like, if you're trying to talk to me, don't let me pay my check first and then try to talk to me. Like that's like a terrible look. Like if I was in America and a dude tried that, I wouldn't even entertain it. But the only reason I entertained it is because I was in Ghana and I didn't know nobody and I was trying to get to know people. So I'm like, okay. But like, am I still there? I'm on.
Yeah, what happened? Okay, you back.
The call.
Oh, go ahead.
But I was just saying, in America, fellas, please take note of this. If you see a lady at a restaurant or at a bar, and you see her ordering drinks or whatever, and you maybe even see her ask for the check, do not wait until she pays to go up to her. I mean, Dinah, you tell me, what's your thought on that? Do you wait until the woman pays to go in and say something? Or do you go ahead and take care of the bill and then holler at her and be like, yeah, I just paid for that for you? Like, what's y'all doing these days?
It depends. But I'm really not hollering at girls at restaurants like that.
Where you hollering at them?
Like airports. I'm an airport guy.
Not Christian Mingle?
Hell no. I'm an airport and passing gym street. Like I'm not. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So
Because
airport.
the restaurants I eat at aren't really that pop. Like they're not. They're not like the STK. You know, you look like an STK type of. Like I'm not going to STK.
Okay, but let me say this, Dinus. Like,
No,
let's
but
just
listen,
put
but
it.
King Camel has a point though. Like that too. I'm not paying a random chick's tab.
Okay, so okay, let me say this. Let me say this. So let's put it in perspective, right? And let's say that you were at a restaurant and it's
Okay.
not STK. Let's just say
Okay.
you at Applebee's. Okay?
Right.
Applebee's. We're gonna take it down a notch. And you see the girl, she ordering drinks, you know. At that point, let's just say you're in the scenario. She seems like somebody that you will want to date.
Okay.
She's got the look, you know, she's on her shit. She's asking for the check. What do you, and you know you want to talk to her. You know you want to say something to her. It's just everything is fuming in you to do it. What do you do at that moment? Do you tell the waiter, hey, let me pay for it before you go and approach her? Or do you let her pay for her check and then you go and talk to her?
I'll go talk to her when I get ready to talk to her, but I'm not paying for nothing.
Wow, really,
There we go. There we go. Listen, if she has something on her plate that I like, I'm gonna ask for a bite of it.
Wow. Okay, I don't know what the comments are saying, but I am just, I don't know. I'm a little different when it comes to that. Like, I think that I just have so much more respect when a man, especially when they know, right? Because y'all be prowling. Y'all be on the prowl. You know who you want to talk to. You are already scoping her out no matter where it is, right? And it don't have to just be a restaurant. It could be anything. But it's like, if you know that a woman is getting ready to pay for it and you already know you want to ask her for her number, to me, it just like elevates you when you just like pay for it. And then like she goes to pay for it and the waiter says, oh, it's paid for already. You like pay for by who? And she's like, that gentleman over there. And then that's when you get that wave. That's when you say, how you doing? You know, can I get your number? It's hell yeah. Because you already have impressed me. So, and to me, like when you ask after, it feels like you were watching and you knew like I was getting ready to pay and you were waiting until after. And it's like, I'm not even interested anymore.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, but that's just how I feel. Y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments. But, you know, he came to me after I paid. But like I said, I'm in Ghana. I need to get to know people. So at this point, everything is out the window.
Did you give him your number?
Yeah. So let me tell you what happened.
Hold on. So okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, it went out the window.
Go ahead.
I'm telling you how I would have reacted if I was in America. But I will say, like, Ghana, it kind of humbled me, you know, not knowing nobody and everything. I was like, well, shit, I mean, I don't care at this point. Like, I paid for the bill, but it is what it is because I want to get to know people. Like, I just didn't know nobody out there. So he came up to me, you know, I'm like, okay, hi. He's like, hi, you know, my name's David. I'm like, okay. You know, I'm like, I heard you wanted to get my number. And you were a little afraid to come up to me. And he's like, yeah, I didn't know, you know, if he was like alone or what. I'm like, yeah, I am. He was like, all right, well, you know.
He must have been Ghanaian. He must have been Ghanaian.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
He thought I was the Shanti. He thought I was in the Ashanti tribe.
Okay.
And he was like, wait, you're not Ashanti? And I was like, no, not that I know of. He was like, oh my gosh, I thought you were Ashanti. I was so happy. I was like, finally, a beautiful Ashanti woman walking in. Like, he thought I was Ashanti child till I started talking. He couldn't believe I was American. So I don't know, maybe it was like a double jackpot for him because maybe it was like, damn, she look Ashanti and she got an American accent. I don't know, but he was loving it, right? So he had texted me that night. And this was like 2:00 in the morning. And remind you, I only met him for like 2 minutes because I was already on my way out the door. And he texted me. He was like, you know, it was so nice meeting you. And he was like, how are you enjoying your trip? And I was like, it's just not really going as planned. And he was like, well, please let me take you out tomorrow. And I was like, well, you know what? I do want to visit the waterfall and I want to visit the botanical garden. And he was like, okay, well, I'll take you tomorrow, house 2 p.m. And I was like, 2 p.m. is good. I'll see you then. And so in my head, I was just laughing because I'm like, what's really going on? Like, I don't do stuff like this anymore. You know, I used to do this type of stuff when I was like 22, you know, but now I don't just hop in the car with guys that I don't know that I just met and we get ready to drive an hour and a half to go to a waterfall. And I only met you for like 2 minutes in a whole nother country. But, you know, what happens in Ghana, yeah, apparently doesn't stay there. But,
Hold on. What happened in Ghana, Hannah?
no, nothing happened. I'm just saying,
Okay.
it was just one of those situations where I was just like, it is what it is. Like, I'm gonna have to just bend a lot of like my standards and things that I would do so that I can really get to know people. Because like I said, I won't just hop in a car. Like if I meet somebody in America and literally like I keep getting phone calls. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, you hear me.
That must be old dude from Ghana calling you now.
Okay,
that must be old dude from Ghana calling you now.
No, it's not.
That was him.
I keep getting calls back to back, but like for me, it was just like in America, I'm not gonna do that. Like if I meet a guy the night before, I'm not getting ready to just go somewhere with him the next day and we going an hour and a half away. No, I'm probably gonna want to meet up at a coffee shop first to make sure, you know, fill you out, whatever. But I was like, hey, time is of the essence. So I'm like, come on. I definitely did not, Keisha. Okay, definitely did not, Keisha. No dicking down. But I just told him like, yeah, come on and get me. And like when he came, you know, I didn't even remember how he looked. I'm like, shit, what did he look like again? You know, I almost forgot his name. I had to look back on the WhatsApp like, oh, okay, David. You know, like it was like that. It was just moving so fast, you know. So I get in the car and I get to asking them about God. You know, I'm like, do you believe in God? And, you know, what do you do? Like, them like the first questions as soon as I get in the car. Because I just wanted to make sure, like, he was a pretty good guy. Let me see. Some pharmacists finessed my number today.
Jackie, how did he finesse your number? Jackie, how did he finesse your number?
What?
Okay, all right, go ahead.
What does that have to do with anything?
All right, but go ahead.
So, yeah, it was just one of those situations. Like, I don't know. I was literally like, okay, I'm just going to trust my instincts. I asked him a few questions. He was pretty cool, you know. He told me he was like doing some stuff with livestock and he invested in land. And I was just like, okay, he believed in God and he was trying to get a master's degree. So I was like, all right, you're perfect. Like, we're going to make this happen. And that was about it. We ended up going. It was amazing. We went to the waterfall. We went to the botanical garden. It was a vibe. He was a vibe. We hung out the entire trip, like every other day. Every other day, David was coming to get me. We were going places. We were doing things. He took me to the Elmina Castle, all the way in the Cape Coast. I did not have to pay for a tour guide. Remind y'all, in Ghana, those tour guides, they tax, okay? These tours in Ghana started like 260 USD. So for me to meet David and David like, I'm going to take you here. We're going to go there. Where you want to go? He was letting me plan the itinerary every day. And I was planning it. I was planning an itinerary. He came to pick me up. We went. We had a great time. David wanted to pay for everything. I was like, no, David, let me pay. And David was like, no, like he would get offended. You know, whenever I said, let me pay, he'll be like, no, I'm paying for it. I'm paying, put your card away. And I just was like, okay. So, you know, it was a good vibe. And like I said, I met up with him almost like every other day. I probably went out with David like 7 times while I was there.
All right. So tell us about the did you go to the Black Star Line Festival?
The Black Star Line Festival. So I didn't get a chance to do that. I went, but I didn't go in. It was a lot. That also contributed to my first day being terrible because I got in on the day of the festival. So I got in on the 6th and the festival was on the 6th. And so it was just a lot that happened. It was a lot that transpired that didn't allow me to go and do what I wanted to do, what I intended to do, which was go and report. I didn't get a chance to get the press pass because I got there too late. They had given out the press passes earlier that week. So it was just like a lot going on that I didn't realize. You know, I was just like expecting to just go and finesse it. But the Africans, they were like the Ghanaians, they were like on it. Like the guards, they were like, no, where's your press pass? No, you cannot get through. You cannot. And I'm just like, damn, I'm trying to, you know, use the American accent. Like, listen, I need to go through. They're like, no, they didn't care. They was on it. So, you know, for me, I ended up going. I checked it out. The line was entirely too long for me. It was over 50,000 people that attended this festival. So big shout out to Black Star Line. Big shout out to Chance, Vic, everybody from Chicago that turned up and turned out. But for me, I wasn't going to be willing to wait in that line. Like I was already jet lagged. I just got to Ghana. I got to this festival. It's too much going on. I'm hungry. So that's when I left and I went and got the Nigerian food and I just like freed myself, relaxed myself. And the rest of the trip was just really me like kicking it and getting to know Ghana.
So is the so beyond the return, do you think is a win for the locals or no?
Beyond the return. That's our topic of the day. Beyond the return. Beyond the return, I believe it's half and half. It's a win for the locals, but it's not. It's a win because it is booming the economy. People are coming on the streets of Ghana. They're spending money. They're going to restaurants. They're buying the clothes. They're getting their hair done. By the way, got my hair braided in Ghana. You guys, this was $54, including wash and blow dry. Look how long it is. $54. So we're coming and we're like putting a lot of money into the economy, which is great for the locals. But it's also bad because it is raising the price in Ghana. And a lot of the locals are being priced out. They can't afford it. They can't afford their everyday. So it's like, where is the balance?
How do you know that?
Well, because it just shows like some of them cannot afford to eat at the restaurants that the Beyond the Return people are eating at. And the Beyond the Return people are all Americans.
Let me ask you this. What restaurants were you guys eating at and how much was it for a person?
Oh, plenty. I ate at so many. So
how much were you spending like per when you would go to these restaurants? How much were you spending?
When I would go, $25 to $30.
That's a lot. I mean, dude, people can't spend that much per plate here in America. That's a lot.
Yeah, $25 to $30.
That's a lot.
That was including like 2 drinks, the food, the appetizer. So, but that's what I mean. Like,
that's a lot.
And even if it was just 1 drink and 1 appetizer, whatever, it just still was something that wasn't conducive to the locals. Like you can just tell it was just certain stuff that they cannot afford.
Yeah, even here in Atlanta, like I'm not eating 20. I'm not like I rarely see $25.
Yeah. Hold on.
I rarely do. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Yeah, Keisha, I'm coming to your house to eat. Keisha, I'm coming to your house to eat. So cook me some salmon and some rice. And then I want some jollof rice, some egusi, some of that New Orleans stuff. Whatever you cook in New Orleans, Keisha, make that for me. I'm on my way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead, Hannah.
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, 25 is a lot just on a regular, like just an everyday basis, 25 to 30 per meal. But just still, like, even just if I was to do basics, it still was going to come out to like at least 15, it seems like, just on basics. So a lot of the locals really cannot afford that. Like, even when I went out with Sunday, we went to a local spot. So the locals eat at local spots. But there are so many new booming restaurants in Ghana, like beautiful.
Man, even when I go to Africa, I don't eat at the sit-down spots like you. I eat the local food. That's the best food.
Yeah. I mix it up. I ate local food, but I also, you know, ate at some of the nicer restaurants. I ate mostly at the nicer restaurants, but I mixed it up. I ate at local places, but I don't know. Like, I think this is something I want other people to weigh in. Like, I want you all to call in calls. Like, I don't know something going on. I want you guys to weigh in on this. Also, like, what do you guys think about Beyond the Return? What do you think about everyone who is making their way over to Ghana? Do you think it's good for the economy? Do you think it's bad for the economy? You know, I approached Dynas with this question because it is happening. Beyond the Return is a campaign that's running from 2020 to 2023. So this is happening, and people are coming. More Americans are coming. More British people have been coming. Europeans, but Americans are coming, and we are coming with money. We coming ready to spend. So y'all call in, you know, let us know, what do you think about Beyond the Return? Is it good or is it bad for the people of Ghana?
I mean, Ghana, Hannah, I used to eat wache. When I was in Ghana, I would eat wache every morning. It was delicious, and it was only like 50 cents. And it was off the chain. But guys, before we take call-ins, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We have a message from our sponsors, and we got to pay some bills.
At the Okoli Law Group, we specialize in producing justice. If you or a loved one in the Atlanta metro area is facing serious criminal charges, then you need serious legal representation.
The Okoli Law Group is here for you. The Okoli Law Group is here for us.
The Okoli Law Group, serious legal representation.
Hi guys, I'm Jay Dior, intuitive reader and spiritual advisor. If you are someone who has been looking for more clarity or guidance on some of the issues that you have been experiencing in your life, then you can head to my website, bougievoodoo.com, where you can check out my reviews, or you can go ahead and book a session now. Also, check out my boutique, J. Dior Beauty, where I sell everything from luxury virgin hair and wigs to high-quality sport bikinis and swimwear. There is free shipping on all orders over $100, or you can use promo code YouTube for an extra 10% off. Scan the QR code to check out the site now.
Hey you guys, it is your girl Alexis Fowler coming to you with a special sale of 40% off all of my services when you use promo code VIP40 at alexisfowler.com. As a brand designer and consultant, I provide services like digital art, logo designs, packaging designs, web designs, social media flyers, and much more. If you're an entrepreneur with a business or a startup company and you need help with branding and graphic design, make sure you take advantage of this opportunity with 40% off using promo code VIP40 to get 40% off on all my services at alexisfowler.com.
King James, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Daniel? Sorry, bro.
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
I love it. Everything is good, man. Everything is good. Yeah, I was listening in. I appreciate what you said about the whole local foods thing. That's just the best option. Like, I don't know why. Some people kind of see that as like when they go to Ghana, they got to get fancy or something like that. But I'm like, nah. Like when I was a kid growing up in Ghana, like you said, 50 cent. You ate wache for 50 cent, like literally.
I ate that for breakfast every morning. Wache, it was like 50
every
cents.
morning. Yeah, every morning I ate the same thing as a kid. At 50 cent, get you some wache, and you'll feel real good about it after you're done. And trust me, like when you're there, just eat. That's the best food anyway. Like going to the restaurant, they be getting all fancy and all this other stuff. But the funny thing is, the restaurant, when you go to the restaurant and they do that fancy stuff, you can just get the same thing on the street for less, and it tastes even better.
I agree. I do agree
Yeah,
to that
that's
because,
better.
like, even with the aguse or the aguse, when I had the aguse at that Nigerian restaurant off by the beach, and it was like some little chicken hut all the way in the back somewhere, that aguse tastes better than when I went to Buka. Buka was like a nice restaurant, just beautiful, like breeze all on the inside. It was called upscale African cuisine. And I mean, that's where David, took me. So it wasn't no big deal because it was like I wasn't paying for it. I was just experiencing it. But the food did taste better at the local spot, hands down. So I
Yeah,
agree.
it always does. Let me tell you, my family, Dinus, we've owned multiple restaurants in Ghana since the 80s. And the funny thing about it is that I wouldn't even go to those restaurants even when I was a kid. Like, those restaurants are owned by my family, but I wouldn't even go to the restaurant. I prefer to eat on the street because if you don't travel much, or if you do travel, or people that don't usually travel a lot, when you travel and you go mostly anywhere in certain countries, you will come to find out the street food tastes better than restaurant food.
Tastes much better.
It's there's a strong, much better. Yes, like I let me tell you, Dennis, I've worked at, I'm going 10 years now at the United Nations. I've been to over probably 60, 70 countries now. I can promise you that most of the countries I've been to, when you touch down, go straight to the enjoy the street food on the in the country. Like, you enjoy the street food more than you enjoy restaurant food. I promise you. You know.
Right. But some people gotta have the ambiance. The ambiance.
Yeah, people be acting real bougie with it, but I'm like, that's the vibe on the streets in Ghana is even better. Like, when you when you're in Ghana, the vibe on the street, like, it's everything. It just feels better. Like, when you're in a restaurant, you ain't really catching no sort of you ain't catching no real vibe. Like, when you're in the street, you talking to people, you making connections, you really building a strong bond with people. So yeah, like, trust me, like, some people were complaining that things are expensive, but I'm like, the people that complain that things are expensive, like the food, what happens is they make it expensive because they over there acting like they don't want a real experience. Like, a real experience is vibing out on the streets, being there with the locals, being you in there, you in the field with everybody, not sitting up in a restaurant cooped up and watching ESPN like you do in America. Some people just go to Ghana and they just be sitting up in a restaurant watching ESPN. I'm like, you can do that here in Brooklyn. You could have done that in California
You know
somewhere.
what, King James, is so funny that you say that. I literally just had a flashback because I was at, what's the name of that restaurant? I went there at least 3 times. It's called Honeysuckle. And Honeysuckle, like, one of the times I was literally sitting in Honeysuckle and I was watching ESPN. Like, ESPN was on 2 big TVs and it was just a beautiful breeze. Honeysuckle looks amazing. The bill was like $35 every time. And it was like a lot of other type of like-minded people. Like, it was people in there with MacBooks, like doing work. And I just kind of was like, I was feeling it. And what you just said really described my description. But you're right. I always did have a better experience when I went to like local restaurants and I was like with the people and they was asking me to buy them another beer. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, it is. It is a great experience.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you guys have fun, man. I'm glad to see, everybody coming down there. I think it would be I think it's a great thing, Dinus. I really do. You know, Going back home to Ghana for a long time now and being born on a continent and raised there, even me myself, I'm starting to really experience moving around into different countries. Like, I'm kind of, because I was born in Ghana, so if I go to Ghana, I'm like, this is just my spot. Like, I grew up here, saying I'm not really seeing something I haven't seen before. But I've been branching out. I've been going to Namibia. I just got back from Mozambique. I was up in we went to Zanzibar, we went to Zimbabwe this year. So yeah, it could be a great thing. Just make sure, I tell people all the time that are coming into Ghana, make sure you come with the right attitude, leave the nonsense at home, because trust me, you act crazy in Ghana, somebody's going to stretch you. That's the most important thing. Come down there with a lot of respect, come down there with some act like you got some home training, because it's a great place. It's a lot of nice people in Ghana. But if you get out of hand, trust me, they'll discipline you real quick. That's the most important part.
Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button as you come to the chat room. Go ahead, Moochie.
Hey, Dennis. Oh, yeah. So I was just listening, man. I think I just started listening a couple minutes ago. So one thing I'll say, if I think tourists, people visiting Ghana, man, people should patronize the restaurants. Yes, we should have a mix, eat on the street. But if all the foreigners come and start eating for 50 cents, it's not good for the economy, right? We gotta spend money so that the local economy benefits from people visiting. So I think it should be a good mix. Now, in terms of, how people going there might impact, the locals. Yes, you're gonna get a general rise in prices. I mean, if a place becomes tourist heavy, right? That's like anywhere else in the world. That's to be expected. Now, my only concern is that hopefully the people that benefit from all that money coming in are not businesses set up by people that don't look like us, right? But if it's Black people benefiting from those dollars coming in, I'm all for it, man. And yes, you have to patronize the restaurants and spend some money.
All right, Michael, go ahead, bro. You gotta mute yourself. Well, let me mute you. Hold on. You had some feedback. Hello. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Just greetings, Prince Dinas, and greetings to your guest as well. So, just a brief introduction for me. I mean, this is the second African country I've been to. Actually met Dinas and Mary. We spent some time together when I was in the Gambia, working with Judith Wright and on Blacksit, and we stayed in touch ever since. So, I mean, I lived in Gambia for about over a year in total, 2 different times. I've been in Ghana since November, about mid-November. I'm here at the moment. For what I'll see is, well, I don't exactly know when I'm going back. I'm just seeing how it goes. So just a couple of things I want to touch on, and then I'll touch on to your main question. Regards of food, like eating here. I mean, I don't eat at those restaurants that are like, say, $20, $25, $30, or some of those ones in Osu. So I do normally eat the local food, and like if you could get by here, I mean, most of the food that I eat, a lot of them can be under $5, like local food. You can go into a restaurant. I could take you to a restaurant in Ghana, and you'll spend about $5. Yeah. $6, $7, and very nice food as well. The local jollof, the local tilapia, chicken, and generally, I mean, I would get some fried fish. There's certain like a local lady that I buy the fried fish on, and it's about 30 cedis. She gives it to me, and I can buy like 8 of it, and I'll put that down, put it in the fridge and fry it. But if you obviously when you're going there, I think as a tourist on holiday is different than obviously when you're living here. So obviously depending on what your income is and how much you get, of course. But I think when you're like, say, coming for like a couple of weeks or even a week, I mean, you can, if you want to, go out to like those kind of restaurants every day and spend, if you want to spend $20, $25 on a meal. But I think when you're living here, it's obviously very different in terms of how you're budgeting. So I think that's one thing to say. But I have seen, even local Ghanaians, I mean, they go into like places like there's like Pizza Hut, for example, and like you would get in USA or UK, and that's full of Ghanaian people, and the prices there. I went to another pizza place. I think it was about a week ago, and it was charging about 140 cedis, which is a lot of money in Ghanaian. I can't do the quiet currency in USA because I normally operate in pounds, but at the time that was about 14 pounds. Yeah, it was like £1 to 10 cedis at the time. I know it's changed now, but that's what it was, I think, about a couple of weeks ago. And 14 pounds or 140 cedis, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of money for a Ghanaian. Some of them that might take 500 cedis a month, or 700 cedis, or 1,000 cedis a month. So just like you mentioned, that guy that you saw, that you met, he was making about £50 a month, or $50 a month, and that's what not everyone, but a lot of people are earning that. So when you actually, it may seem cheap, for people coming from the diaspora on holiday, etc., but for the locals, it's not cheap. And when you're living here as well, it's not quite the same. It's not quite as cheap. The other thing I would just wanted to say as well, before I go on to the main question, I would say when you said dating men in West Africa, they always foot the bill. I would say that might be your experience with obviously the men you've come across, but I wouldn't say that reflects all men in West Africa, because I can tell you for now, if you went to the Gambia, there'll be certain men who would not be footing the bill for you. Yeah, I know that as a fact. So I think I wouldn't just say generalize Ghana with, you know, the whole of and compare that against East African men. That's what I would say. Right. Will beyond the return in Ghana negatively affect the locals? I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of, I think, yes and no. I think it's great, yeah, that we are going there and spending money. You know what, whether it's like you said, like hairdressers, or whether it's, you know, buying food or wherever we're spending the money, local craft shops or buying clothes, etc. But then, yeah, it has rise up the prices, and even like you see, like some places now they're just charging US dollars, and the prices of, you know, renting here, particularly accommodation, is very, very expensive. I mean, the rate I see the whole, you know, the beyond return thing and the whole, you know, Ghana, I think Ghana kind of have staged it where it looks like they're very welcoming of people from the diaspora to come to the country because they had the year return, beyond the return. But I think there's still issues with the country in terms of the residency aspect. It's not quite as simple as people think it is, where you can come here one day and the next day all of a sudden get citizenship, or all of a sudden get a residency. A lot of people still have to go through kind of process, even if you was like a white European or Asian person would go. And a lot of people that you see people getting citizenships is because they've been most of them is because they've been living in the country for like over 5 years or long length of time, which make them eligible for citizenship. Either. But I mean, the general immigration procedure here, it's not, don't be fooled, it's not like what you can just come here, land here, and decide you want to stay in Ghana. There's still immigration, and there's someone who's looking into it. There's still a lot that needs to be done of immigration. So the way I kind of see it, even like you mentioned earlier, getting a visa to go to Ghana. Obviously you're getting a visa from USA. You got the visa on arrival and the end, but even getting the visa to just visit on tourism, they made the visa for, I think it was about a week in December to January visa on arrival. But generally you have to get a visa to come to Ghana unless it was in that year of return, or it was that week they made it available. And, you know, it's even a process just to get the visa to come in the country, you know, the different paperwork that you've got to get, etc. So it's not quite as, you know, easy as people say, in terms of you still have to go through bureaucracy and paperwork, etc. The way I kind of see it is like they want us to kind of come there and patronize the country and spend the money and, you know what, be there as tourists. But when it comes to like the long-term stay and us, you know what, staying in the country and getting residency and etc., it's, you know what, it's a question mark. It's like, do they really want us here? Do they really want us to just come spend the money and boost up the economy? And I kind of see it's like slavery tourism, the whole year of return. It's like basically, you know what, our ancestors, descendants of enslaved Africans, and talking about my background, my mom is Jamaican, my dad is from Malawi, Southeast Africa, but I'm speaking now from a Jamaican perspective, Caribbean perspective. I was born in England, but my mom's family are Jamaican. And when I look at it, that descendants, my descendants and other descendants from Jamaica, African Americans like Dinas, etc., and yourself, that we were taken away from Ghana and other places in West Africa, but let's concentrate, say Ghana. Now we're coming back, and it's like it's always like coming back for us to invest, coming back for us to, you know, to do this and spend money. Coming back, we have to go to pay the slave museum, the slave dungeons that our ancestors were taken. We have to pay for this. We have to come and pay. It's like they only really want us if it can boost their economy in some kind of way. That's the way I see the year return and the whole beyond the return. I think it's kind of staged, but it's like, it's not really like, you know, welcome home, brother. So we're going to do, you know, we're going to make the process easier for you to come here to the country. We're going to try to do this for diaspora and to help facilitate them with certain land things, because there's things that they can do which will benefit the locals, and it will benefit, you know, the people coming from the diaspora. So even the whole beyond the return thing, that's not real Ghana. I'm here like living in Ghana. That's not really, to me, that's not really what it's about. I haven't been to any of those beyond the return events. And I go to local. My friends here are local. I've met them at other books. I'm an author, so I mean, I've been to book launches. I've been to other events, but that whole,
and you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just feel like that's why we're, you know, proposing the question, because even though you don't feel like that is the real beyond the return, it's happening. Like that's a portion of the beyond the return. The portion of it is not people actually being integrated so much with the locals, but they're going to these nice new restaurants in Ghana. You know, they're having the festivals. They have a lot of flash going on around it. And all of that is expensive. And that's what I'm here to say. I'm here to say that, like, I saw the expensive side, because with me going by myself and also the guy that I was hanging out with, Like he had some money, so he was going to all of those restaurants too. He wasn't really like taking me to local spots. He was taking me to the nice upscale Ghanaian restaurants. So I think that it's just the question at hand is how does it impact the locals? Because I saw a lot of locals who like had this little look in their eye, like, just give me a few more years and I'm gonna start robbing y'all because it's too many of y'all over here flaunting in front of our faces. Y'all walking around, y'all looking good, y'all smelling good, y'all eating at the nice places, and y'all walking right past us because it's so integrated. Like even my hotel was right next to a village. That's why I said I walked out on the balcony. Now here it is. I'm at a nice hotel. It's called the GC Royal. It's marble, all in the lobby, and it's nice. But when I look out on top of my balcony, I'm seeing chickens. I see a village. I see people with water on top of their head. But then it's like we're over here spending $130 a night right next door to you. So what I'm saying is, how does that look 5-10 years from now for the locals? Some of the locals, of course, are going to benefit, the owners. But what about the locals who are just working regular jobs and they're constantly watching the economy grow? They're watching the prices grow. What are they doing? Are they going to now start going against Americans and Europeans and saying like, we want to rob y'all, or there's some type of like civil war that happens because of like the imbalances?
No, sis. I don't think you're getting it right. No way. Africans don't operate like that. All those countries talk. I mean, no way. You know what? If you go to Jamaica, I've been to Jamaica. In Malawi, this brother said his mother and father is from Malawi. If you go to Jamaica, you go to the resorts. You're paying $300 a night, okay? And you're eating all the food in there. Actually, I and my friends have ventured out to go to other places. When we go to Montego Bay, you go up to Ocho Rios and places like that. Drive out, but locals are not going to rob you just because you're staying at a resort and you're paying a lot of money. Actually, what I saw is most of the people, they're happy that
they will if you walk off that resort. That's why a lot of times they say a lot of people.
That's not Hannah. That's not true, Hannah.
Please.
Hold on. Let me say this.
Excuse me. Why is this? Excuse me. Why is this here? No. Let me finish. Excuse me, sister. You're saying that people outside.
Hold on, Moochie. Let me say this. You asked if I've been to Jamaica, right?
I didn't ask if you've been to Jamaica.
I have been to Jamaica. I've stayed at a resort. I've been to Malawi, okay? That was the first African country that I went to, actually, was Malawi in 2011. So what I'm saying is, even in certain parts, now when I went to Jamaica, I didn't have that experience because I'm the type of person, I don't mind leaving the resort. So I left the resort. I went to Kingston. I went to the block party and ate jerk food off of the truck, off the hood of the truck. But what I'm saying is some people really don't leave the resorts because they're scared of some of the danger that can occur. That is a real thing. That's a real thing. They do not leave the resort. They will stay at Sandals the whole time. They're not going nowhere because they don't know what may transpire.
Well, if they listen to somebody, they listen to what you're saying, somebody might be afraid to go outside. But that's not a reason. Wait a second. Okay, you spoke. Can I speak, please? Can I speak?
What I'm trying to say is
let me
not
speak,
to
please.
scare people.
Let me speak. Let me speak, please. Let me speak, please.
That
Wait a second.
is about getting a local experience.
I'm
just putting the conversation out there about Ghana in particular and what I saw while I was there. I saw some of the locals looking like they looked like they were becoming offended. Like, I don't understand how everybody is like just ignoring us, like ignoring the fact that we are literally struggling just to buy bread, but you all are going and eating and toasting right here across the street from us. And it's a very weird dynamic. So
you're making dangerous assumptions. You're making dangerous assumptions that just because
I'm not making dangerous assumptions at all.
Just wait a second.
This is literally just putting conversation.
I mean, do you even listen?
One mic, Hannah, let Moochie finish.
Please.
But Hannah,
you're making.
Hold on, Moochie. But especially in Ghana, you are over exaggerating, Hannah.
Over exaggerating.
Wow.
You're over exaggerating.
No, but you can't tell me what I experienced though either. Like everybody experiences, a different situation. different
Okay,
situations. Different
Hannah, let Bucci talk because we got.
Okay. You know what? What's very kind of nauseating a little bit is this. I've been all over the world, okay, every continent. Where is this where is this fear when people go to Paris, when people go to Colombia, they go to all these countries, black people? I mean, a black person, I'm surprised a black person would be scared in the continent of Africa. Unless, I mean, I'm not saying you have to go in the wood late at night or stuff like that, but 99% of the time, nobody is trying to harm somebody in Africa because they have money. I have friends and family that are driving Maseratis and stuff. Wait, let me finish. I didn't interrupt you. They drive Maseratis and all that, all expensive cars in Africa. Nobody harms them. Why are they going to harm you because you're spending $30 on a meal? Are you serious?
Yes, I am serious about proposing this question. I mean, I am serious. Now don't get me wrong, it didn't happen to me, but I'm looking more into the future. This is more of a projection of just wondering, could this be something that happens? It's not happening right now. No, I did not experience that in Ghana. I did not experience anybody trying to rob me. And I appreciate that about the continent. I appreciate the safety that I felt. So I'm going to make that very clear. I felt very safe. I felt safer in Ghana than I did in Chicago, than I do in Chicago. But what I'm saying is, as we're going out there with this beyond the return, and it's a lot of money floating around. It's a lot of people who are going to these nicer restaurants. They're not going necessarily to the local spots. I know I spend majority of my time at the nicer restaurants. I know there are people going and trying to do the luxury stuff. So what does that do to locals who are literally standing around hungry? And they can't afford to go to some of these places. They can't afford to do these things in their own country. I just would hope that it would never spark any type of civil war or something to go on against the locals versus the people who are traveling for the year of the return. That's all I'm saying. I hope
that
that
will
nothing
never
like that ever
happen.
happens.
Can I just come in, guys?
Stop.
You said what?
Stop it, Hannah. Stop.
But why are y'all acting like this is something that just could never happen? Like you're acting like I'm just making up something that is like.
No, I'll explain. I'll explain it. Like, I understand, like, Hannah, like, congrats on the trip to Ghana. I'm glad you have a good time. But listen, that's not going to happen. That's less likely to happen. Why? Because most African countries, they mostly go after the leaders. They don't attack the people who got money. Because they go after the leaders because they're the ones that empower and set the system. A leader can make anybody rich or broke if we're in any position of power they really want to. Like I'll give you an example in Portugal. A lot, like, I agree with you. A lot of people, especially in California, white people, are moving to Portugal for better housing, and they're sick of the American life. They're sick of the inflation. They're sick of everything. You can look this on ABC7 or on the website. Everything was going good. White people got better life. They can afford food. They can afford basic needs in Portugal. Great housing, everything. Great benefits and health benefits, especially universal health care. However, their money, their currency, did start affecting the Portugal currency over there. That did start happening. That a lot of people started complaining about. The food was high, the rent was high, the mortgages were high, even for housing in Portugal. However, one thing that the people of Portugal didn't do, they weren't mad at the people with that kind of American currency that was destroying theirs. They are more mad at the leader because of the special privileges they were giving them because of the kind of currency they have. They were mostly after the leaders because they control the capitalistic system.
Well, I understand that. I understand what you're saying about the leaders.
So yeah,
you mentioned something in the beginning of when you started talking. You said that's not something that would happen. Africans would not. They would not attack each other. They would attack the leaders. But that's not true, because there have been plenty of times where groups have literally attacked other Africans, like the Boko Haram. But they were trying to get to the leaders, but they were attacking their own people. They were killing people in villages and making kids join as child soldiers.
Stop it, Hannah.
But they did. He said that could not happen.
No, but Hannah, you said it right there. No, but Hannah, you said it right there. I know, but Hannah, you said it right there. You said that at one point. They went after the leader, but who intervened?
Right, but they used their own people. They were fighting. They were killing their own people. To gain soldiers and things like that. So you're right. They do go at the leadership, but there was still a war within their own people. They were killing their own. So it can happen. It has happened. So that's all I'm trying to say. That has happened.
What's that got to do with tourism, though? What's Boko Haram got to do with tourism?
Hold on. Let's pass it.
Well, we're talking about something else, Moochie. So if you were listening, you would know.
But real quick though, but Hannah, like I understand what you're trying to say. Believe me, I know. But you gotta be careful with modern life in the village life narrative. That you gotta be careful with that narrative because that can be offensive. Because one thing.
Well, I'm not looking to create any narratives. I'm just having a conversation.
No. I know.
Conversation. It's not creating a narrative.
All right, okay, let's hold on. African Fang Tribe, go ahead, unmute yourself. African Fang Tribe, unmute yourself. Hello, Africa Fang Tribe, we can't hear you.
Yeah, Dynast, can I just come in now? I just want to come back. I can't.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll pass it to Amote.
Yeah, I mean, from my experience of Ghana, it's a very peaceful country. The people are welcoming. I understand why you may have raised the question. I don't see it happening, but I just want to use an example as well of you could say like Gambia, for example. I used to live in Gambia, and Gambia is a tourism country, and Gambia, like Ghana, is a very peaceful country. Both very peaceful African countries. Gambia is a tourist country, and a lot of people, whether they're tourists and particularly now moving to Gambia, have got money, and the locals don't necessarily have the same kind of economic clout to go to certain places. But there's not really a tax being done on the diasporan communities or people that are moving into Gambia. Gambia is a very peaceful country, so it's not happening there. I'm just saying that as an example, somewhere where there's a big influx of people coming from USA and England, and there isn't massive like resentment from the local people and the tax happening from the local people. In fact, the Gambian people, they want the local people to come there. They're actually very much encouraging because they see the benefits that it has to the country. So I just wanted to weigh in on that as well.
All right, Amote, go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everybody here. I'm really enjoying this conversation. It's a great topic, great question. What is the impact of this huge influx of not people just from the Western Europe and maybe North America, but literally Black people from all over the world, literally coming to Ghana. It's a yin and yang, and it is no different in Ghana as it is in Paris, as it is in Tokyo, as it is in Shanghai, as it is here in DC. Okay, if you have a huge influx of any significant number of tourists to any place in the world, demand will drive up prices. No different in Ghana than anywhere else. Number two, to what Sister Hannah was trying to say, let me first of all make it clear here. I'm a proper Ghana boy, and I'm also a proper Nigerian boy. I'm both. I'm the West African guy who will go from Dakar all the way to Port Harcourt and back and forth and eat every fufu on the way and drink every soup on the way and eat every suya on the way, like Dynast. You understand? I'll hit it up north to Bolga, to Ouagadougou and back, and hit it up north to Palimé, Lamakara and back in Togo. So we are the people, but I live here in DC.
Are you one of those West African? Are you one of the West African guys that's covering the bill?
I live here in DC, but I have family back home. I mean, when I go home, I don't even spend money because I have my brothers and people who are living in Ghana do better than I'm doing here. They pay for everything. They put me to shame. You understand? Let me explain one more thing here. One thing you need to know, I'm speaking as somebody who knows Ghana culture proper. I speak like 7 Ghanaian languages. I speak a little bit of my Nigerian languages too. Okay? I am that guy from West Africa who is real West Africa, proper true. And I see my brothers and sisters in you all because I know the history inside out, both on this side and on that side, between the colony and the plantation. I know the difference very well. And I can see where you are coming from in talking about the fact that some of the locals who might have looked a little bit not as well put together were looking at you and staring at you. Ghanaians are curious people. Not only Ghanaians, go to Rwanda, they even stare more than we do. But nobody will attack you. You know why?
If one person dares attack a stranger, the whole community comes up. That's not the police business. If you know Ghana, you know what I'm talking about. You go try to put McMill lost his phone. How did they find that phone?
No, somebody stole it.
No, wait a minute.
That somebody snatched his phone.
Well. We don't have evidence. We don't have evidence that it was snatched. Do you have that evidence?
How else is it taken?
Did it fall on somebody? No. Did it? Well, possibly. We don't know. But the phone was taken. But the good thing is, can you lose your phone in DC and find it easily? I live here.
No.
Hello. Thank you. Somebody's trying to smack your face on the metro and snatch that thing too.
Listen,
does it mean you stop riding the metro? You don't. You still ride it anyway.
We are all saying the same thing here. Okay.
But the point. Let me finish my point. The point I'm trying to make is that you have never experienced anything like that in Ghana, so you have no basis for that assertion. Number two,
I do have basis.
What did you experience that was threatening to you in Ghana?
So the reason that I even brought this up is because I just saw it. Like I saw what could potentially happen as a projection.
What did you see? Describe what you saw.
I described it, but I'll describe it again. Just being out on the streets and mixing the locals and nicer, newer hotels and restaurants. Everything is like combined. You got a nice hotel, you have a village right next door. And then you have people who are literally standing out on the streets and they're watching every single day. I walk past and they're watching me every day walk past. Now, once again, I felt completely safe in Ghana. 100%. I felt safer in Ghana than Chicago. So that's where we agree. None of this is happening right now. But what we're talking about, the question of the show, and I think you all are missing that point. You're talking about the right now. I'm talking about what does the actual beyond the return, what type of effect will that have on Ghana in the projected 10 years that the beyond the return is going on? Oh, gosh. The beyond the return is supposed to be going on from 2020 to 2023. So, 2030. Nobody is talking about projections. Everybody's talking about what's going on right now this year.
What would you base your projections on? Because projections must be based on
I'll tell you what I'm basing my projections
facts.
on. I'm basing my projections on the fact that everything is getting higher, right? Demand causes what? Higher prices. More people are coming. It's going to be more people this year than it was last year that are coming from America. And it's going to keep increasing. So what I'm saying is, as prices are continuously rising, as more Americans are coming, some of them may be coming somewhat ignorant. Some of them may be coming and having their head on straight, ready to respect the local people. But what does that do for the local people necessarily, especially the ones who don't own businesses? What does it do for them?
Can I explain something here?
Yeah, sure.
It does a lot for local people. Can I tell you why?
Okay, what is that?
Hold on. My brother employs close to 50 people.
I said that doesn't own business.
Hold on. The 50 people that are hired by my brother are happy to see you all coming to town. Not just him, his employees love it. Because without you all coming to town, they don't get paid. They don't get business. Exactly.
But what about people that don't have jobs?
Hold on. Those who don't have jobs are aspiring that they will have an avenue, an opportunity to earn a living somewhere, just like everywhere in the world. Wherever there is opportunity, people try to make room, make a way to earn a living, either creating a business or acquiring a skill that can get them hired. But let me drive this in here before the year of the return. What a lot of people don't realize is that there is something between Ghana and African Americans beyond the castles. There's a deep history that we don't know. I'll throw a little bit in here so you will realize that this is not new to Ghana. Okay, you went to Accra. W.E.B. Du Bois is buried right there. Okay, Padmore right there. Malcolm X walked those streets. Muhammad Ali walked those streets. Maya Angelou walked those streets. This is nothing new. Just get it straight, okay? Way before now, way before you have retained, as long, look, let me take it back to 1895.
Hold on. I think there are other people on the panel. Maybe you don't want to overdo it.
Yes.
Let me leave it alone.
Let's
Yeah,
move on.
let me leave it alone. Thank you, my
Yeah,
brother. Thank you, my brother.
yeah,
Go
you're
ahead.
welcome. I think greetings to everyone on the panel, the chat, and the viewers. My take on this is quite straightforward. I think I get where the concerns the guest is raising, because if there is serious disparity between the returnees, or the effect that the returnees are having in the environment, and the locals, then you start bringing tension between both groups. And I think I've been involved in such discussions before. If you look at an example of this, is what is happening between sometimes Nigerians and Ghanaians there, because Nigerians dominate certain areas, then you find that the Ghanaians start becoming a little bit anxious about it, to a point where they were requiring Nigerians to have $1 million to be able to trade. So these things are not fictional. And but my hope is that the Ghanaian government, they are smart enough to understand that the gains that are coming into Ghana from the returnees is also passed on to the locals. Because if they leave it without that happening, you're going to start building resentment and a divide. And you don't want a divide in any society, actually, that wants to hope to be stable for a long time. So, and one of the suggestions I had before was that they have to have some organizations, which I'm sure they do already, within the diaspora, liaising with the Ghanaian authorities, to ensure they monitor these things and ensure that the gap doesn't grow, because it does happen, and we've seen it in Ghana with Nigerians. So let's not act as if the stuff just works itself out. And we've seen it in South Africa with Nigerians again. When you don't take care, Western countries are experts at managing these kind of events. They taper it off. They ensure that the locals are taken care of when there's a growth coming along and others are increasing the price, and that through benefit system or ensuring that they get enough jobs. So that's all I've got to add to it, and I think that's just about it. I'm just trying to say that I get where the guest is coming from, and it's not a kind of it's not without merit.
Right. It's not without merit. I appreciate that too, Nigel.
To Niger, that is what I wanted to talk about. The lady was making some points. I think the problem was that she didn't really quite articulate herself very well, especially when she said that there is going to be war. But you use the right word. There's going to be resentment, some displeasure, disgruntled individuals because of this situation. Because you're going to have more of a society that has some kind of a dichotomy. You have the Ghanaians from the diaspora who come in to Ghana, living above the average person, then also the African diaspora that comes into Ghana, living a similar lifestyle. But there has to be some kind of structural adjustment. I think the Ghanaian government has to have some kind of an office, regional offices for diaspora activities, or, something like that, some kind of structural adjustment, and also have a plan to make sure if you're having some of those big hotels in local areas, big businesses, let some of that money, tax money, go to constructing some of the roads, reconstructing some of the villages, not to make them modern, but keep the traditional looks of those places. Even if you have mud houses, try to have the real, more advanced sun bricks. If it's thatch roof, just kind of repair the roofs, get them pipe-borne water, electricity, and stuff like that. All that money, those people should really be able to see some change. Then in the educational system, there should be more input into the civics and history to make them, the local Ghanaians, understand that the people coming back home are your people. Then get some kind of integration, cultural integration, because you don't want people to come in and live like a new society in a country that they call home, because that's what created the Ghana must go thing in Nigeria many years back, when Ghanaians were pushed out of Nigeria. Like you said, it created the same tension in South Africa that we saw until Julius Malema had to intervene, and then it stopped. So if there is no structure in place, there's bound to be some resentment, and you can't really predict, especially in the age of Google, Facebook, digital communication. None of us sitting here understands what 10 years is going to be like. So the metrics are going to be very different.
Okay.
Let
It's a very
me say something,
and some Ghanaians are getting.
Please,
who is that?
Tunaja, wait.
So who is talking? Okay, Muni. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Tunaja. I think you know what, we should be careful to not compare things that are not really the same. Okay, so here's the thing. First off, I want to say this: tourism in Africa, West Africa in general, it doesn't receive much tourism. Okay, Zimbabwe, where I come from, is one in the top 10. South Africa in the top 10. Namibia, in terms of tourists that come into the continent, and you don't see this kind of behavior of people being harmed because they're coming from other countries. No, it doesn't happen. Then the other thing I want to talk about, the people that go to South Africa, you're talking about millions and millions, including people from my own country. And a lot of those people, they are looking for jobs, okay? That puts pressure on the locals. That is different from Westerners that come with a lot of money to spend in the local economy. And also, these African Americans going to, I like statistics and numbers. I don't believe there's even more than 20,000 African Americans. I don't know if somebody can say the real numbers. And so you tell me, there are so many, I've heard there's many Lebanese and Indians and all these other nationalities in Ghana. We have settled there. If they are not afraid to be living in Ghana, and they are not being like harmed, why would African Americans come in? I think African Americans are new to this travel. A lot of them are new to this travel thing. So they all everything is hypersensitive.
No,
everything is over exaggerated. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's not true.
That's what it is.
African Americans are not necessarily new to travel. I mean, look at Dynas. You're on his
channel. That's why I said let me interject. You cannot tell me Africans travel more than African Americans.
You're still talking. Let me interject. But Hannah, me and you both know that the majority of us don't travel. I mean, only like 3% of us have passports.
I wouldn't say 3%.
It's about 3%.
No, that's very true. We don't travel that much at all.
We don't travel. We don't travel.
It's growing.
It's a fact.
It's growing. And definitely growing with the millennials and the Generation Z. It's growing. Big change out here. That's all we want to do is travel.
We talking about reality. You talk about projections.
You said majority. I don't think it's majority.
See, Muni, I don't know why people are getting triggered by this. It's just a simple thing. If you have the inequality growing because of this thing, house prices are going up and all kinds of stuff are going up that the locals cannot afford, then you're going to have a problem. Here in the UK, that's why they have a massive benefit system. If you take away that benefit system, there will be massive uprising. They will go after the rich. Because the houses, no poor person here can afford the houses. They cannot even pay for the rent. Most people that are working in the UK here, they still get government support to pay for their rents. Because you have to augment the gap between the rich and the poor that is growing in many parts of the world. And if this stuff is reflected in Ghana because of the returnees and, let's put it this way, investment is coming in, then something has to give. The Ghanaian government cannot ignore that and just say, let the people fend for themselves. You have to do something to make sure that doesn't build resentment.
I want to chip in something, and I like that somebody mentioned, I don't know whether it's you two, Niger or Muchi, asking about Ozimono. Somebody spoke about the government needs to have an office that is coordinating everything. Ghana is one of the only countries currently that has a presidential desk dedicated to Black diasporan affairs in Ghana. If anybody, whether from Antigua, Barbuda, or wherever, Black person, you are in Ghana and you run into any trouble, okay? There is a whole office in the presidency dedicated to making sure that your issues are resolved. Recently, there was a lady who had she tried to buy some land somewhere and she got into some shady land deal. There are shady land deals all over the place, Everywhere you find shady snake oil salesmen, plenty of million everywhere. They exist everywhere. She came across one of these people and something went wrong, okay? And she felt threatened. Well, we gave her the number. She called the office and They conferenced with her and they took care of her easy, straight away. All I want to say is that, and back to what Niger is saying, my grandfather came from Wari and settled in Ghana, married my grandmother and had the children. And some go back and forth. When it's good in Ghana, they stay. When it's good in Nigeria, they stay. We are those people. We switch back and forth, back and forth. I remember I wasn't born back then, but in the 60s when I was told and I read the history, my grandfather shared this, when the president of Ghana made a law called Aliens Compliance Order. It was a foolish law. But that president was the guy who took over right after Kwame Nkrumah. Okay? Whitewashed, brainwashed. He couldn't see his African brothers and sisters as kinfolk. And he thought that the economic challenges of Ghana was because of the influx of Nigerians. So he made this law and got rid of a lot of Nigerians. My grandfather's brothers left. A lot of uncles of mine left and moved. So many people died. This was in the late 60s. The clock rolls forward. The Biafran war is over. Everything is died down. There's peace in Nigeria. Oil boom is coming up. 70s is happening in Nigeria. Everybody's going back to Nigeria. And Ghanaians, the economy has tanked. And so people carry their poverty and go to oil-rich Nigeria to go compete against locals. There is a difference when people relocate to compete for jobs and opportunities. And there is a difference when people migrate to a place to invest or to just spend money on leisure. Year of return, beyond the return, and events preceding all of that are purely touristic. They are not about people migrating for economic opportunities as to coming to Ghana to go hustle for that job, to go hustle for that space, to go hustle for this. It's different. The people who go to South Africa to go look for opportunity, a lot of people, I mean, I took offense when I saw South Africans maltreating our people. I'm like, I saw Nigeria spend millions of dollars on ANC. And today, you guys, wow, let me leave it alone. I mean, those people need to be schooled. Thank God for Julius Malema. But that's another story altogether. We saw anybody grew up in West Africa in the 70s and 80s, saw South Africans all over the place. We schooled them for free, okay? Poor countries like Ghana, countries like Nigeria that they point dirty fingers at today, spent millions of dollars on South Africa, educating them, paying for their school. In countries like Tanzania, there were countries that absorbed these people, educated them, and these countries didn't have money, and those that had the means to pay, paid for them. So if Nigerians go to South Africa, and Nigerians do well wherever we go, because we know how to do our thing. Now, Niger know they carry last, I beg, it be true. It's true, it's a fact. I mean, if you ask a Ghanaian between Niger, we like to run our mouth, but it's a fact that, you know, Niger know they carry last. Niger, Sabi, proper. Niger knows their stuff. They know their onions. Well. It's true. And Nigerians come to South Africa, open businesses and what have you. They are not taking your jobs. They are creating jobs. Why attack them? You know, and that kind of, but that's very different from people traveling to a place to spend money and leaving back. The tourists coming to a place has never been a problem in any country in Africa that I know about. And so I don't think that is going to ever be a problem. Now, when it talks about relocation, what we always tell people is that the opportunities are not all in Accra. The opportunities of Ghana are outside Accra, if anybody knows. If you stay in Accra, yeah, you make more money, but you spend more money. You go outside Accra and go into the countryside, you get more love, you get more opportunities, you make more money, and you build a stronger community around you, and nobody can touch you. I'll rest my case.
I think tourists that come in and go away, that's one thing. But we're talking about returnees, the ones that are coming to settle in and invest and grow the economy. see, Liberia, you know, people came from the African Americans came from America to Liberia. The same thing with Sierra Leone. You will see the episodes that happen, that the division that resulted. Human beings do what human beings do. They get envious, and if there is disparity, you have problems. And this is why I don't think it's pointing fingers. I think it's too many Ghanaians and South Africans are getting triggered when I mention them. I'm not trying to resurrect that debate. Is just an example. They're all regrettable episodes that shouldn't have happened. Is human beings do what they do, and African leaders, they don't tend to manage these things very well. This is why we've what the guest was saying, I think, has merit. The Ghanaian government needs to pay attention and ensure that the people are brought along. You can't have the Ghanaians just hanging around, not progressing from, yeah, a lot of them are going to get jobs in restaurants and hotels and maybe even large business, tech businesses and all the rest. But you don't want to leave there are always going to be groups that are left behind. And if you just leave them hanging, let them, you know, climb up the ladder themselves, you're going to have problems. And this is why you will start seeing the crime rate climb. But I think Ghanaians generally do these things quite well. I have to give that one to them. Ghanaians tend to have a level of common sense in terms of trying to take everybody along, except when it comes to Nigerians. I don't know why, but it's it's just one of those things. But the truth is, Ghanaians know how to handle these things quite well, and I think it on balance it will be all right. And if I'm to say anything to the guests, I think your fear is not without merit, but with cool heads and the way I see things going, I feel like Ghanaians will handle this right.
But
Yeah,
I agree. I hope so. I hope that they do. Like that is definitely my hope. My hope is that everyone is able to just get along cohesively like we already are. But I'm just looking at the projection, you know, and with the year of or beyond the return being a 10-year process, and I'm already seeing subtle, like I'm just seeing some differences of what's happening when I was there, just as far as like all of the growth in these restaurants. There were so many restaurants that opened in December. And I think this is also going to be a problem for some of the restaurant owners. It's like, what happens once December is over? Because see, I was there January, like up until mid-January. I stayed there for 14 days. And that first week, it was booming, it was popping, it was still a lot going on. But then that second week of January, it was like everything slowed down. And I started speaking to a lot of the restaurant owners. And I was like, you know, when did you guys open? And they were like, we opened in December. And I'm like, oh, so like, how's business going now? And they were like, it slowed down tremendously. Like they're trying to get people to come and sit down at their restaurants and eat. Like I literally sat with an owner and witnessed it. They were like fighting over, it was like a group of people and they were hoping to get it. They were hoping to get it. So, you know, it's just kind of like, but the prices are high. It was no locals sitting there at those restaurants. It was only tourists. So that also sparks another question, like what happens to those business owners who have opened up all of these clubs, restaurants? What happens to them throughout the year? Because December, they do great. But what about January through November?
Have you,
well, the thing is,
have you run a business before? Because let me tell you something, okay? I live here in Michigan. If you go to Mackinac Island, all right, that island is open for only 5-6 months of the year. They make their money there, and then they shut down the rest of the year. And then in America,
what you just said, you said 5-6 months. Ghana's dirty December is 1 month. 1 month.
But that's not all that happens in Ghana. You see, you are getting, you just have a tiny little slice of what goes on in Ghana. You need to spend time in Ghana beyond 1 month, stay there for a whole year and learn. And then you also learn that with everything, there is a time and season for everything. And there are peaks and there are lows with everything. There is nothing like a constantly high market all year round anywhere in the world, not even for gasoline. Okay, there are peaks and there are lows. It happens everywhere. It's, you know, your exactly, precisely, you know what I'm saying. Your little sine wave will happen up there, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's normal. That's standard. The thing is, these businesses adapt. Okay, they adapt to the season in which they find themselves. Accra is stupidly expensive. saying this as a Ghanaian. Okay, Accra is madly expensive. Doesn't make sense. Not at all. But for everybody who wants that vibe of this nightlife or whatever it is they like, you pay for that and you suck up and do your thing. But for those who like the other easy life, you get out of Accra and go some other place and chill. And your money goes really far. And life is even better. From some of our perspectives, we think it's even better outside Accra than Accra. But if you are young and you want to go out there and hang out and chop it up with all the big boys and bam with the big boys and hang with all the people that be the movers and the shakers, you have a big wallet to go with it. Good luck. But these businesses adapt. And it's not only Dirty December in Ghana. You ever heard about the Easter's in Ghana? The Easter in Ghana?
No, I haven't.
You haven't heard about that, okay? Have you ever gone to Ghana in summer, where we have all the festivals?
So when I went,
this your first time in Ghana?
Yeah, it was my first time.
Wait. I thought you had a baseline that you went there maybe 10 years ago and you went there this time and you draw a baseline and you saw some
during my first time. I don't have to have a baseline.
How did you form such a strong
how did you I was able to see this all during the one time that I just went. So I don't have to have
I need to find out how you came by that, because you only have 1 point and you're making a projection without 1 point.
It's not 1 point. It's not 1 point at all. It's literally just something that I observed. It's an observation, and me sitting down with the restaurant owner, I can't hear. I'm hearing somebody else talking.
Moochie, we can't hear you, Moochie. I got to Moochie. You got to call back in.
He's got to chill out.
We can't hear you.
You gotta chill out. We're having a conversation.
One mic. Let's Mono, then we pass the black line. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is, I think what the lady is trying to say, I mean, she's making some points, but having been to Ghana just one time.
Well, wait, hold on 1 second, Mono, because I don't want anybody to try to interpret what I'm trying to say. So I'm not. Hold on, just let me say it, because I don't even feel like I got it out good, because I keep getting interrupted by everybody trying to make an assumption on what I'm saying. So while I was there, and this is just another question that I'm just putting out into the atmosphere. While I was there, I actually sat with a restaurant owner, and he just opened up in December, along with a lot of new restaurants and clubs. They just opened up in Ghana this December, the December of 2022. And with me being out there in January, mid-January, I saw the slowdown of Dirty December. Dirty December was still popping that first week of January, but that second week, a lot slowed down. The Ghanaians were going to work. It was Monday through Friday. People were in the hustle. You didn't see a lot of tourists walking around anymore. So I actually got a little glimpse of an experience of what it would be like to actually be a local, and not in the times where, it was popping and it's a lot going on. And from what I could see, the restaurants started to become empty. They were chasing for people. They were trying to compete to just get one group of people to come down and sit. And so the question that I'm proposing, this is just a question, is what may happen to some of these restaurants that opened up for Dirty December, but they're not getting the business needed throughout the year. And the prices are so high that the locals aren't even shopping or eating there. That's the question.
Right. I fully understand. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that I just wanted to give more perspective, because the thing is, the business is open not because they just expected the markets to last for 12 months. We are Africans, and we know those seasonal businesses that make their profits in the period from end of October to end of January or the middle of February. That's it. They make 90% of their income. The rest of it, they have to strategize. They've made enough money to live for probably the rest of the months. So they know it. They were building. They are not new to Ghana. They are not new to Nigeria, Congo, Cameroon. This is how they operate. So you're looking at it from a very academic perspective. That's just the thing. But any other African will not even feel sorry for them, because we know those skyrocketing prices are not real prices. Those are prices to accommodate for the rest of the time that they're going to operate their businesses.
Exactly. While tourists are there.
Yeah, you know, a touristic view is just like if somebody, you are a journalist or you're a tourist, you visit a country and you see conflict, and then you say you understand the culture and the social anthropology of the people. You always get it wrong, absolutely wrong. Because, and that's why sometimes you see on CNN, sometimes they tell you something about an African country, an African sits there and say that, are they talking about Ghana, Sierra Leone,
really?
Nigeria? You really think it's a different world. And sometimes they're talking about Nigeria, but the reporter says this is Anderson something reporting from Freetown. You know how far
Mono, can I ask you a question, Mono? What,
Right.
in your own words, what point do you think she's trying to make?
Well, I think she's saying that some of the businesses having set up these businesses, they thrive in December, make so much money. But what really happens? So there are two concerns that she has. Number one, for the business owners, this dirty December brings in so much cash flow, then everything dries up after about 2 months or maybe 1.5 months, and that's it. The second point she was making is that for the local people, these businesses, the cost inflation, the price goes up, and then the local people cannot afford it. So it looks like the price stays that way. But having lived in many African countries myself, I'm Congolese. I lived in Cameroon, studied there, been to a couple of other African countries. You always know that local people don't really eat in some of those high-end restaurants. While you have beer, wine, liquor, whether it's Johnny Walker, Blue, or whatever, local people go with their normal palm wine, they go with their corn beer, they go with whatever is local. They stay that way. They are hard for their
Ogoglo is talking.
Yes, Ogogoro or whatever you want to call it. In the midst, Africans know how to live. That's why sometimes you see a castle built in a village where people are living in thatch houses. The people in thatch houses stick to their plan. They don't move one bit. They can have money. They keep it in mattresses. They don't put it even in the bank. They dig holes. They cement it. You know, they cover it with tiles. They put their money in there. They live that way, and they send children to boarding schools. I've seen this myself. You know, so you have to understand the metrics. When you don't understand it, if you just have to look at it, probably especially like if you are a sociologist coming from Western countries, you want to solve a problem in an African country, you just go to a village, you see the people living, they carry cutlasses or machete on their heads, carrying loads on their head. You may think they're suffering. You go in there, you say, wow, they eating
If
so
you are
much,
saying if you are saying that that it generally smooths itself out, that's basically what you are saying. No matter how the inequality, they smooth themselves out somehow. Then how do you explain the Nigerian effect? I think the difference between Nigerians and the general locals you are talking about are normal tourism, because Nigerians are in numbers and they are in Ghana. And this is what is also happening right now. There are people coming there, they are living there, they are living in the communities. They are not like normal tourists or staying in like some tourist area. You see what I mean? Where everybody knows, okay, that's where the tourists stay.
Oh yeah, I'm not addressing the issue of Nigerians in Ghana. I'm just talking about just the aspect of the restaurants and the prices. For Nigerians,
because I've seen it happen in various countries in Africa, let's say South Africa and Ghana, you can see that it's possible. And if you look at Liberia, that's part of the problem. Even with Liberia, there was a bit of a schism between both groups. So for me, because when I saw the case of Liberia, and I saw some of the Liberians, the way they talk about their history, I really hope that never happens. And it will be a very, very tragic event that African Americans, after 400 years, start returning back to the continent and something terrible goes on. And this is why their cool heads have to come together and do this right. Nobody wants to have a second rejection after their ancestors, generations ago, were taken away. Then you have a situation whereby a community fights against this same group again. You don't want to have that happen. And I think you are understating the potential significance of what could result from this.
Oh,
You see
no,
what
I
I
agree
mean?
with you. Remember that the very first point I made when I talked about some structural adjustment, and I said you used the right word when she said there's probably going to be a war. I said it's more like people being a displeasure or resentment. It could
And
spill
no,
into
I didn't say
something.
there's probably going to be a war. Because let me clarify that, because you keep saying that. I just threw it out there and said, could it spark a potential civil war?
Right.
That's
That's why
I
I
didn't say
use
it
the
was
word
going to be
could.
a war or
No,
anything
I
like that.
understand.
But
I'm
that's
not
what
disagreeing.
happens with resentment. So you keep
I
going back
agree.
to like resentment, but what happens after resentment?
I was
Wars.
actually, I was
People fight, people shoot. Like that's
absolutely.
what comes. That's the
I
aftermath.
wasn't disagreeing
So
with
don't
you.
try to make
What
it seem
happened is
like, you know,
I was trying
like
to interpret what you were saying because I
right, but
was saying because
I don't need an interpretation.
yeah, I understand, but again, we're all giving perspective. So the thing is, with me, my style generally, I don't disagree with people. I say that is your view, but yeah, is what I think, and that's how people discuss. Because I'm not really kind of a positioner when people take a position. Because tonight just said that it's a resentment, more of a resentment. I say yes, I feel like that displeasure can creep into something that you might not be able to interpret. We cannot really speculate, especially given the times that we live in. It's a different world. So I understand. I'm not naive about the potential of something really happening. I was just addressing the issue of price and the restaurant business and stuff like that. For people like Nigerians, other Africans living in other African countries, yeah, that's a very different thing from just you having tourists coming into a country, stay there, help the local economy with money and stuff like that. That's really very different. And I talked about the structural adjustment. I talked about the Office of Lands. I talked about the culture, the history, the civics. Everything has to come full circle for the Ghanaian government, given the direction that they're taking.
All right, let me go ahead, Jonathan. Then we'll pass it to Rosie, and after Rosie, we'll close out. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I just want to say that the sister is simply just saying what she think will happen. No one can predict what will happen, although we can look around the world through similar situations in which this same thing has happened. And in the end, yes, it often did lead to civil war or some kind of thing taking place that was violent. But she shouldn't get the kind of pushback y'all giving her. That's all I want to say. Take care, brothers.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rosie. Like
I
you,
agree.
Jonathan.
I'm surprised they didn't say they were selling something. I just I'll be surprised.
Tanaja, I want
Are we
to
not selling
say
something
something since
today?
you said that. Tanaja, my brother.
Hold on. Go ahead, Rosie. Go ahead, Rosie.
Yes, thank you. I too agree with Jonathan. I also agree with Hannah. I clicked in here because I saw will beyond the return in Ghana negatively affect the locals? And I agree. I am one of those that I have been in and out of Ghana and I've stayed there for over a year. So you can't come at me with this, oh, she only been there 14 days.
Come on, Rosie.
One of the other expats that I know just posted a video showing the local police gouging us and making the statement that, in other words, they don't want us there. This is not our country. So you all have opened the door for us to come, but they have not made provisions for us to come without any issues.
Ms. Houston, can I ask a question real quick? And I continue to ask this because I've traveled all throughout West Africa and East Africa. How did Ghana become the landing spot?
Because Ghana is the only country that have come forth and said, come home. No other country has come forth and said this, which just opened the floodgates. Now, whether we use that as a springboard to go throughout the country, then that's our personal choice. But no other country has opened the door for us to come. And that's why it's being flooded with so many expats. But the problem that we're facing as expats is don't invite us to come back and then treat us like crap and make us go through the same police brutality that we're going throughout the United States or in the West, period. And that is what is happening. So when I see the question, is it negatively affecting the locals? Yes, it is. There will be some resentment. There is being resentment, and it's showing throughout the police. They are constantly pulling us over. And if they hear, once they hear, or even throughout when you go to the market, when you go and get land, we're being gouged. The money is, it's just like they look at us as a bank. Soon as they hear our accent, the prices immediately triple. or it's only in US dollars. So is it affecting them negatively? Yes, it is, because it's coming back on us tenfold. Now, some of us are saying, oh, it's just the culture. You got to get used to the culture. If you're going to move here, you got to deal with the culture. Well, if this is the culture that we got to deal with, then don't invite us to come back if if the culture consists of stealing and embezzling. And whoever mentioned about the girl who ran into the issue with the land, that's Leslie. I've spoken with her, and yes, she did go through a terrible incident where the local Ghanaian men do not really care for African American women because we're too strong. We're not submissive. So is it affecting them in a negative way? Yes, it is. Does the power to be care? No, they don't. They just want the money. Now, whether they want us back, it's too late now, because you cannot put the genie back in the bottle. We are coming and we are there.
Ask a question. Why would you want to go to Ghana being strong?
What I also said that some people are using Ghana as a springboard to go to other countries. I know a lot of expats that have hit Ghana or have hit Tanzania or have hit Kenya, and they're using it as a springboard to go to other countries.
And I just want to jump in there, Rosie, just to answer your question, Dynas. Why do you go to Ghana and be strong?
Yeah,
Well,
go be strong.
because like Rosie just said, sometimes they will try to take advantage of you. I had to be strong with some of them men. When I was trying to negotiate on my prices at the market, they were all trying to come at me at one time. And I told him, excuse me, wait a second, I'm talking to him still. Let me finish this up and then I'll get to you. He was like, oh. And then he told him in the Ghanaian language, he's really strong. But I had to do that to, make sure I wasn't being overcharged. So they will price gouge you. You have to be strong in some substances.
Can I say something about the pricing thing? If sorry for if it sounds like I interrupted. Now, when I go to Ghana, I'm a Ghanaian. I grew up in Ghana. Okay. If I go to Ghana, even if I go to Nigeria, as soon as you appear to Nigeria, if you go to Lagos now, people will just look at you one time and that boy just come from London now. They stay here. Just by your shoes, your appearance, your everything, they know you are not resident locally. And prices automatically go through the roof, even if you speak Yoruba. It happens to me. What you do is you begin to work with them and you negotiate. If I want to buy anything of substantial price, I get my brother or people who are always there, who nobody can play games with, to front for me. Because if I show my face up, prices will go up. If I'm driving the police,
you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt because
let me finish my point.
Okay, finish your statement, because I just got on live and you've been there for a minute. So go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead. It's okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate what you said, and I understand that once that person hears your accent, things change. But I'm specifying now, why do we have to get this same treatment from the police? Somebody from Ghana, tell me, why is your government and your police doing this foolishness? Why are you all pulling us over? Why are your police officers pulling us over, asking us for money because what, you don't have a triangle in your car? The car is brand new. What do I need a triangle for? I just got the car. I just bought the car. Can I get to the place and get
can I say something? Can I just say something to Rosie?
Hold on, tonight. Are you done, Miss Houston? Are you done?
Yeah, I would like that question asked. Yes, I am finished. Thank you.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, regarding some of the stuff you are describing that the locals are doing, I think that comes with the territory. Almost anything, they are not targeting you. Even if they are targeting you for money, that's what they do to locals. I've been to Nigeria before, where they profiled me too and treated me worse than they would treat locals. So because they know I'm from overseas, even if I'm Nigerian, it doesn't matter. So I don't think you should necessarily say that as if they are targeting African Americans. And this is some of the stuff I feel like needs to be communicated, because every place you go to, there are always douchebags everywhere. You have to expect that. Africa is not exempt. So I just think that you should keep that in mind because you don't make it all about Africans. The ones that invited you mean that you should be there. It doesn't mean they don't have cousins that are douchebags. You see what I mean?
Thank you.
And I agree. I agree with what Tunisia is saying because, like, even when I was in the car with the Ghanaian, they were targeting him. I wasn't even talking. So they didn't even know I was American and, like, I look like I'm Ghanaian. So they would still target Ghanaians, like locals. So I do agree there. Like, the police, they're just corrupt. Some of them are just corrupt. They come at their own people. But, you know, the question that I proposed was a little different from that.
Well, hold on. Let me, Miss Houston, are you married in Ghana, Miss Houston?
Am I married in Ghana?
Yeah.
I just returned back to the US a month ago from Ghana.
Okay.
But I've been in and out. And yes, I am married. Yes. But let me also insert this. We are there on business. My husband's company, and this is how deep the corruption goes. My husband's company is trying to get waste to electricity to stop Ghana's blackouts. This is the same device that was approved by the US government when we were in Pakistan. And we are trying to get this done in Ghana so that it will eliminate blackouts. You have no idea the gouging that we have had to go through just to try and get to the president or whoever is second in command, just so that we can stop your blackouts. But they will go to China and allow the Chinese to come in instead of allowing African American companies to come in and stop the foolishness that's going on with your electricity. But the corruption and the gouging, it's not just the police, it's the government. And I've seen it firsthand. They're asking us for $100,000. They're asking us for $1 million just so that we can get to the person to help stop the blackouts. Don't tell me that we're not coming there and it's not affecting the locals. It is negatively affecting the locals because the gouging must stop. I yield the mic.
It cannot stop. It's what they do. You can't expect them to change because you are there. It's not fair. You have to be objective about the way you approach things too, because you have to remember, just as you are going to another territory and you consider them offensive, you might actually be doing the same thing. Has to be objectivity here. If this is what they do to everybody, then you can't just say, okay, they have to change it for you. It's not fair.
I'm sorry. Who's changing what for who?
You're saying they should not gouge you.
I'm not saying no, they weren't successful at it, but I know
exactly
other business people who are going up against the same thing. It's not just our company. There are other African American companies that are coming in. We have celebrity companies that are coming in and are coming up against the same forces. Give me money so I can get you to the same thing.
It is not only an African American problem. It is not only a problem in Ghana. If you go to any third world nation, any nation south of the equator, let me put it that way, draw that line, or any nation in the southern hemisphere, including all of Africa, okay?
Including the UK. If you come to central London now, they will charge you for even a single sign more than they will charge you outside this in central London. So I don't know.
Let me take including Northern Mediterranean, Spain all the way to Turkey, all of those places. What you will find out is that an American is seen as a cash cow. I don't know if you've traveled around all of those places. You learn very quickly. People like your money. They don't want to see you. They'll find ways and means to get your money.
That's my point. That's my point.
It is
that's my point. Is it
American
negatively
thing.
affecting locals? Yeah, it is.
Hold on. It is not. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say this. Like, I understand what the sister's coming from. Okay, like they got business and it's taking them. It's a bigger fight than it's necessary to be. Okay, that's true. Like the African brother, Ghanaian, he's Ghanaian, Wodi Maya. He interviews African youth of the continent who have great businesses. Yes, they all said they all have to fight tooth and nail to get the businesses running, especially when it helps the village or the economy. Exactly. However, And on top of that, they all said this: it takes time, because they said getting what they getting what they need to go, or how they got their business started to help the people, is not an easy process. Through papers, through government, etc. They all said the same thing. So this is not just an African American thing. The youth are going through this. You can look this on YouTube right now.
Thank you.
So it's a pretty normal thing. Can it just need to change? Of course, but it's going to take time. No different than anybody else, because the way Africa is right now it will be a struggle a little bit. But keep fighting, and if not, try another country. Try another country. Africa is bigger. Just try somewhere else.
In other words, do like, people, we always talk about the Chinese, we always talk about the Indians. Question is, how can people who look very different from us, don't even speak a common language with us, walk into our environment and be able to mine in the rural parts of Ghana, in the rural parts of Nigeria? Chinese are mining. How are they doing that? Hold on, let me explain. They figured out how to body up with locals and let locals front for them, and they stay in the back and do their thing. We got to figure out. You see, we cannot go into a system that is still fledgling, is still embryonic, it is still developing. These are developing nations. The systems exist on paper, policies exist on paper, regulations exist on paper. Enforcement is a different story. Governance is 20 miles away from the paper. Okay, so when you walk into that office and think this is what the regulation says, and somebody's going to follow the regulations to the letter, good luck. What the Chinese and the Indians figured out is that the regulations are there, but the people there, most of the people in those government buildings are out there for their own.
Everything is for sale. You buy the people, they'll get the things done for you.
There you
go.
That's the way it goes. Simple as that.
I'm sorry, but can we not say all of Africa is like that? Kenya, Rwanda, South Africa ain't really got those problems when it comes down to Americans, Black Americans doing business in those countries. This is literally kind of just a West African problem.
It is not a Black American. It is not a Black
think
American
so.
problem.
Anywhere you go, you get the same thing. It depends on who is complaining and who is not.
It's okay. Let's just stay in West
Africa. I personally haven't had any issues doing business in Africa.
It depends on who you're interacting with.
Unless you know people.
Roll image. Go ahead. Roll image. Go ahead.
You know people, right? You can't just go there and say, "Well, I'm here. I got this big idea. I got this company that's gonna solve this issue. Let me come in. Let me just do it." Nobody cares. They just want money. They want to be paid. You got money. I want some of that money.
Any new country I go, I expect to be gouged. It just comes to the territory. Yeah, if you don't want to get that, then go with somebody that is local. You expect to be gouged. That's the tax for being new. It's like everything else. You go everywhere else you go. You have to factor that in.
I had a friend from India who told me that in some parts of India, if you have to pay your electricity bill, you have to bribe to pay, because you go to the office. Many times they will slow things down to the extent that you won't be able to pay, and they will threaten you with taking out your life. So developing countries, structures, policies and procedures, that's why they are developing. I won't go as far as calling them third world countries, because that's the language of Western countries. But again, America was a democracy, so to say, 1776, where America was. Some smaller countries in Africa haven't really gone to that point. But again, what I want to say is sometimes you might see something that looks like a problem in some African countries and you think you might solve it. There was a time that we had some foreign charity mission. They went to some village and they thought the people needed more fish. They were relying on bushmeat and all of that. They took upon themselves, went to the central government, and they decided to come build a fish pond. And nobody could eat from that, because the thing is, that was an ancestral ground. So the people will never want to drink the blood of the ancestors. So it was a waste of time. So they thought they knew it. They thought they were sociologists. They thought they came from Cambridge, from Oxford, from Edinburgh, from Harvard, from all of these places. It was a colossal failure. So the thing is, like I'm saying in here, Africa will grow. Ghana is a young democracy. It started in 1992 when Jerry Rawlings had some kind of awakening and then decided that he's going to establish democracy in Ghana. So Ghana and other African countries, they're taking baby steps. Nigeria, just from Sani Abacha, all of us can remember, Nigeria is taking baby steps. When we have younger African presidents who have their ears on the ground, who understand information technology, they listen to what we say here on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, they begin to have a memorandum, they begin to have a manifesto. That's how countries grow. You challenge them on the ballot box. When they lose elections, they come the next time, they say the police, you can't stop somebody, you can't do this. In America, Obama had to establish the body camera. Now we see the police in real time. Now, when technology advanced, the iPhone, the Android, people can take images of police, and we see how corrupt the police in America are. In terms of the bribery in Africa, understand, people take it at local level. In America, they call it earmarks. They call it lobbyists. The lobbyists collect bribe. You just call it a different name. I studied in University of Maryland, studied at in Virginia. I saw it first, and many Americans don't even read the bills.
1 second, okay?
The
system in Africa was.
Well, hold on. What, Mike? Let's pass it. Hold on. African Fang Tribe. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. Then we're closing out. African Fang Tribe. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Hi, hello everyone. Yes, I'm not here to argue. I'm just here just to listen and to promote my book, obviously. But at the same time, so Dynas is my brother. Now he's adopted. In my culture, we adopt people. Yes. So Dynas is going to be my brother when he's going to go to Equatorial Guinea. And then as I'm Cameroonian also and Gabonese, because of the area of the farm people meet with each other. Yes, difficult to understand sometimes for people. So we invaded a territory, and then we are now in Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, blah, 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 blah. Yes? Yeah. So, but we adopt people as one of us. I adopted Dynas, and in my family knows that when he's going to go, they're going to be after him, looking after him in Equatorial Guinea, and in Gabon if necessary, or Cameroon if necessary, because we have the contacts. So I don't know why you arguing so much, because I'm listening. I'm like, what is about this? So if we are all family, so imaginary, if we all family, what are we arguing? So that means that we have our own mindset. So I'm not saying that she's right or wrong, or you wrong or right, because we're different. So I allow you to speak.
What?
Right. I don't know, African Fang Tribe. I don't think that there was too much arguing. I just think it's difference of opinions, and it's just conversation being brought to the table. So, but with that being said, our conversation has gone many different ways. And, you know, Dynas, we had the main topic going on, and we did good for a long time, but we kind of got off topic. We started talking about corruption and this and that, but I just appreciate everyone's contribution, me and Dynas, to to the topic at hand. And, you know, we've been going on for about 2.5 hours. Dynas, you about ready? You gotta unmute yourself if you're ready.
I would say, anything else you'd like to share in closing, Miss Hannah?
No, I think that it went well. I'm glad that we got to really talk about all of this, and just, you know, everybody really put their perspectives out there, and I was able to just put the questions out there about what could potentially happen, just my projections, but not about what's actually going on right now. But I love Ghana. I love Africa. I can't wait to travel to all of the countries. For those in the comments that were saying, stay in America, absolutely not. I definitely recommend everybody to go to Africa, find the country that works for you. Ghana's great. I think that it can work for a lot of us, but we just have to be careful about the way that we move and make sure that we are being inclusive to the locals, because I don't want to see them left behind. Like I rock with the locals too. And that's the reason why I even, you know, approached the way that I did, because I don't want to see them being left behind, and I'm already somewhat seeing it. So let's just all stand together and, you know, make this happen. But I'm excited about what's to come for the future as far as Americans going over to Africa. I think we have a bright future ahead of us, and we need more conversations like this so that we can prevent negative things from happening, so that we can try to foresee and prevent some of these things from happening. So let's just keep it going. Shout out to everybody that spoke. Thank you, Dynast.
No problem. Anytime. Hey, everyone, thanks for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynast Amir, search for
make sure y'all add me Instagram.
Oh, yeah, and make sure you go to International Hannah and add Miss
Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Add me. I'm putting out a lot of content in Ghana and about Africa right now. So make sure you add me so you can see my experience. All right, y'all. And this won't be the last time. I'll see you next time, Dynast.
Oh, wait, Dynast, one quick question. I was wondering, are you ever planning to do a video on Cameroon or anytime soon?
Be on who?
You ever planning to go to the African country Cameroon? I'm curious what Cameroon.
Not at this time, no. I mean, I plan on it, but it's not. It's not in my immediate plans.
Okay, no problem. Well, thanks again.
Hey, Dynast.
Yes.
You should do a video about the business opportunities in Nigeria, so our people can know what they can get into. There's a lot of opportunities in Nigeria.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right, take care.
Wow, Jonathan.